All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. Oh, yeah, a new theme Thursday. We'll get to that coming up a little bit later on. We have audio from Texas football head coach Steve Sarkisian talking about Texas spring football practice. We'll get into that coming up. Also, there was a Longhorn, a future Longhorn in the McDonald's All-American game, so we got to show some love there. We'll get into that because he was actually playing with Bronny James on the floor as well, so we'll get into that coming up a little bit later on. NBA news, notes, and nuggets coming up next segment. The Mavs, they are trying to keep hope alive, but right now on the outside looking in of that play-in. We'll talk about the tankathon between the Spurs and the Rockets right now, going well for both of them, and also NBA updates. But, of course, it is a holiday in the sports world. It is opening day for Major League Baseball. That's right. Go Astros! We'll get into the Astros. We'll talk about the Rangers, both of them in action tonight. Astros versus the White Sox. Rangers hosting the Phillies. We'll get into those matchups. We got my man Hardball to talk about it, so we'll talk about that as well. And we'll squeeze in, of course, some NFL news, notes, and nuggets coming up in the 5 o'clock. We're jam-packed. Before we do all that, let's introduce you to the rest of the crew. He was a second-round pick for the Montreal Expos, but a first-round pick for the Austin Radio Network. He originally committed to the University of Texas, but decided to forego the 40 acres and trace his dream in the cheese. Pippin ain't easy, but for this man, ladies and gentlemen, it's a breeze. He is the Mike Hardball Harge. What's going on, brother?
Man, I'm just living the dream. You're right. This is a very special day around baseball. People get really excited about it. And whatever your team is, whoever you decide you want to be with, you got a chance today. You are in it. Your team is all about that energy today. So you're saying there's a chance.
Damn right.
Until there's not. But I'm down with it. I'm down with it. Let me talk about my man that sits across from me every single day. He hails from H-Town with the Get Down. He's a lifetime Longhorn and a proud card-carrying member of DBU. Legendary lifetime and now College Football Hall of Fame Longhorn Derek Johnson said he was the best cover corner he had ever seen. He's a former NFL DB that still has that passion for film study, but he's not a fan of white condiments. But, of course, he is a fan of you, the listeners. He is my man and yours, Rod Babels.
I appreciate that intro as always. Let's not waste any time introducing the real MVP. I'm sure he's feeling a lot better. I don't know. Yesterday he was at 90%. I'm sure he's closer to 100%, but he's also the Idealionaire, one of the hardest working members of the ARN family. He's got a hustler spirit, period. We don't know what he's paid, but we're damn sure that he's underpaid. He is Patrick Davis. What's going on, Patrick?
Oh, man, it's opening day.
That's right. Ooh,
we got the Rangers starting up like right now.
Yep.
Rangers starting up, by the way.
Okay.
If you want to listen to the Rangers, they are on 1260 a.m. right here. They're just firing up right now, but you can stay right here. We'll ball on live. We'll get you through the day, too.
That's why he's the real MVP, because we're supposed to give you updates on stuff like that. I never remember. Patrick always does. You can hit us up via Twitter. My man Patrick is at It's Patrick Davis. Harge at Hardball Harge in the Twitterverse. I'm at Rod Babers in the Twitterverse. If you want to hit us up via the Specs text line, that's the best way to do it. You're the heartbeat of this thing, so you really hit us up. We really appreciate your participation. 512-337-3776. We'll get into a number of different topics, man. We got a smorgasbord here. It's a beautiful thing. There's a kind of a sportsgasm effect here because we're going to talk about everything. We'll get some football. We got some NBA to talk about. We got Major League Baseball opening day to get into. There are some NFL stories. There's a Baker Mayfield story out there. Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson related story. It's a weird one. We'll get into that coming up a little bit later on in the show. And some NIL rankings. Apparently, I love On3 because On3, they've been pretty much ahead of the game when it comes to tracking the NIL projections of different players individually, and they have their NIL rankings. And there's some Longhorn love on there, but also there's some other love on there too. We'll get into that too. Bronny James getting some love, even though he hadn't even decided where he's going to play. All right, so we'll get into all of that and more. But let's start with the 40 acres here and close to home. There are a couple of topics. Texas spring football we're going to get into because Sark met with the media, had a media availability after their 8th spring football practice, I believe it is. And also, we'll talk a little Ron Holland because we'll show him some love because the Texas signee had a really standout performance in the McDonald's All-American game, which is a good sign. And he also recently reiterated his excitement and commitment to Texas after Rodney Terry was announced as the head coach. So we'll get into that, too, coming up a little bit later on. Let's start by talking some Texas football. We haven't gotten into Texas football lately because there's been so much other stuff going on, especially on the 40 acres. But I'm excited about some of these audio cuts from Sark. So we got a few of these, and the first one I thought was pretty good. Now, it's about two players. Essentially, the question was asked about the progress of Quinn Ewers and the progress of Alfred Collins. Now, both of those guys are key players on different sides of the ball for Texas. Here's what Sark had to say regarding the progress of Quinn Ewers, but also the progress of Alfred Collins so far this spring for the Longhorns.
Quinn, I think Quinn had a really good winter conditioning kind of off season. I think he got himself in really good shape. He definitely feels more comfortable. You can almost a sense of, he's throwing the ball very naturally, very comfortably. I think from a decision-making standpoint, the reads are just happening that much quicker, that much more decisive. I think the management of our style of offense, right? The shifts, the motions, the tempos, the varying tempos, all those things of handling that aspect of the game, I think you're seeing growth. I think it just looks like a guy who's in year two and is growing into year two from a comfort level. Not perfect, and I don't expect him to be perfect right now. I mean, we challenge him every day, and the defense is challenging the offense every day, and we're putting new things in. There's some things we're looking at that maybe we haven't decided are we going to put and have as a part of our offense. And so that can be challenging on a quarterback because there's some newness to what we're doing. But at the end of the day, I just think his comfort level, but also I think his intent, right? I mean, he was very intentional this offseason of getting himself in a really good space physically and mentally. And I think it's showing throughout the first 8 practices. I think Alfred has taken another step, right? We talked a lot about Alfred a year ago about, it wasn't about the talent, it was about the consistency in the play and his style of play. And when Alfred plays that way, which he's doing right now, where he's consistent at the point of attack, he can use his length. He has great athleticism. He can close on the ball. And when he plays really violent, like he's doing right now, he's a real problem. And I think that we've seen that here the first half of spring from him.
All right, the first part of that, just unpacking it, Harge, about Quinn Ewers. I mean, the truth is, and I know you have some quarterback depth. We talked about that. But this offense right now is only going to be as explosive and as effective as Quinn Ewers is.
Correct.
Because, I'm not saying the running game is not going to be good. I think the running game will be effective, but we saw based on the bowl game with the loss of Bijan and Rojo, that's going to be a work in progress.
Yeah, it's a challenge.
It's going to be, exactly. You got a young offensive line, but they're an offensive line with a really high ceiling. So I think that group
and they got a lot of experience. They
do. They return the entire offensive line.
Yep.
That could end up being the strength of the team.
Correct.
If they end up being a dominant run blocking and pass blocking unit. We don't know that right now. Right now, we know that they have a lot of individual talent with those guys. But we know offensive line, you got to work as a unit.
No doubt.
So that's off the table. That's a different variable altogether. And I think that is actually going to work out for Texas and be a strength this year. But that aside, the running backs are unproven commodities. I think they're going to be okay, but they're unproven commodities. Your proven commodities right now are in the passing game on offense.
Skill position.
JT Sanders, X-Man, Jay Witt, right? That even AD Mitchell coming in,
right? Because he's played in some big games.
He's played some big games.
Yep.
You got to find a way to get the ball to those skill guys. That's on Quinn Ewers. So really, to me, it's how
and you can tap in with Keelan Robinson too, because he's been around for a while.
That's true. Yeah,
you can tap in with him,
receiver and also in the backfield. And I think honestly, this year he might have been more effective as a receiver.
Correct.
When you look at him in terms of a guy rather than just hand him off the ball in traditional running game. It's all to me. It's this offseason is all about Quinn Ewers and getting him more and more comfortable within that offense. And if the bowl game is any sign of his progress, I think Texas is going to be okay.
Correct.
Because he showed a lot of growth in that bowl game.
Yeah.
And Sark showed a lot of growth, too, calling plays for Quinn.
Yeah, exactly. And, and who's to say that if X-Man's hand wasn't broken, he could have had a couple big plays and things would have been a little bit different in that bowl game. There might have been some more big-time plays down the field. That's all good. But to your point, you've talked about this a lot. You talked about what are you going to do to replace the running game with Bijan and Rojo. The work is now. The work, you're never going to be able to get those two guys to be replicated. You're going to be able to go out there and see what you can do to manage them. But your point is spot on. What you expect from this offense is going to be led by Quinn Ewers. As Quinn goes, this team is going to go. And there's a lot to still mature. The one thing that I didn't hear in that piece was the footwork fundamental. I didn't hear that. I heard the growth. I heard he's gotten better. His conditioning's better. But I didn't say, hey, I didn't hear hey, he's worked really hard on the fundamental aspect of his footwork. And that's going to be the big thing for me because we know he's got a golden arm. We know that. But the problems that he had was sometimes he got the fundamental part away from him. That's the one thing that I want to see and hear. I want to hear that, hey, he's worked on his fundamentals. He's got a better base when he's doing certain things. And last year's mistakes of trusting his arm so much that he's made those corrections as well. We've heard about the growth. I've heard that. But I want to hear some specifics.
Yeah, I actually, Inside Texas, Bobby Burton remarked in one of his reviews about spring practice about the improved footwork of Quinn Ewers.
Love it then.
But, yeah, no, you're right about that. That's got to improve. It's almost – the footwork's got to improve. So at the base, all right, that's got to get better. And then his processing, right, his ability to look at a defense pre-snap and be able to diagnose it pre-snap and post-snap, and to be able to process it quickly and then figure out exactly where he needs to go and that internal clock. So I think all that's going to come, especially with a really young quarterback like Quinn. But, yeah, that to me is really important because we saw that, and you bring up the footwork, and I remember you talking about it early last year during our watch game, our watch party. He's like, hey, man, I don't like his footwork early on. And he was actually, when he looked good, looked relatively good, but you as a quarterback saw that. And, me as kind of a football theorist, what I recognized is in games where basically teams tried to play man coverage against Texas, they were able to line up, and Texas was able to just straight up. I mean, Bama is probably the best example of it early on before he gets hurt. Texas really was able to have their way with defenses and make some beautiful spot-on throws. But as we know, man coverage is the easiest coverage to read. Right. Now, if you have good defenders,
if you got that full cloud,
if you got really good defenders, then it's also the toughest coverage in terms of quarterbacks to be able to deliver the football on the money. It makes those passing windows really, really small, and hopefully there's not a lot of separation out there. But Texas has really good receivers, and Texas is able to create separation with man-to-man defense, even Alabama's man-to-man defense. And that was just Nick Saban being smart. Nick Saban figures, he always said the best defense coverage is man coverage, so he tries to play as much man coverage as possible. Hell, and you can do that when you're Alabama and you're getting 5-star recruits all over the place. Yeah. And Texas wants
that seems like an easier part.
Ohio State, LSU, those are teams that play a lot of man coverage. Well, you got to have a lot of dogs to be able to play a lot. You got to have a lot of grown men to play a lot of man coverage. But when teams started playing zone against Texas, forcing a young Quinn Ewers to process, all right, and diagnose what the defensive coverage was going to be, and then try to confuse and discombobulate them. That's when the footwork also came back to haunt him. Yeah. Because the golden arm couldn't save him when he wasn't processing very quickly or processing correctly. And then the footwork did not help him make his throws more accurate or to be able to throw guys open in an anticipatory fashion. Yeah. So that's why those two things came back to haunt him, and those are the two things you got to work on the most.
No doubt.
The golden arm is there.
It's there. It's golden. It
ain't going nowhere.
Right.
Yeah. It ain't going nowhere.
But the fundamental part of it, to your point, is it's like, okay, what are you going to do to throw guys open, making sure you're in the right position, going back to the reads. I know that you have, and Sark spoke on that, saying that he's gotten a lot better with the reads right away, and that's good. That shows growth, right? That shows that things are changing for him and we expect a lot. There's going to be a lot put on his shoulders this year, and I think he's going to rise to the occasion. At least we're hoping that.
Well, if he does, then I think we'll have a different discussion, which we're not going to have right now.
Right, this is the beautiful part of it, man.
Exactly.
It's preseason. Let's enjoy it.
Yeah, hope. All right, it's all about hope and faith at this
there
point.
we go.
But he was asked about something interesting. He was asked about the deep ball. And it was a great question toward the end of the press conference where they asked Sark about, hey, are you going to still, push the deep ball and be such a staunch advocate of the deep ball within the offense? Here's what Sark had to say about those deep passes and the chemistry they've been working on during the offseason to make sure they're more effective with the deep ball.
Without question. Our offense doesn't quite work the way it's supposed to work if we don't hit some of those plays, and I don't expect us to be 100%. Anytime you throw a ball beyond 15, 20 yards, the percentage is naturally going to drop. But we try to create those opportunities down the field, and then finding that rapport of the deep ball, whether it's a post, to go, deep crossers, whatever they are, and how it complements themselves with the run game. And then the intermediate passing game is all critical to our success as an offense and then ultimately as a team. And so that aspect of the game, as I've been touching on before spring ball, is a huge point of emphasis of ours. And I think that we're starting to see the benefits of it as we're getting into some of these live settings and the way we're throwing the ball and the way we're catching the ball down the field.
Yeah. He mentioned almost every element of the passing game except the quick game. Quick game. He didn't. He talked about the intermediate game and, of course, half of the deep ball, which I agree with all of that. And for Sark, it's what you have to understand. He wants to do psychological damage to the defense. I understand exactly what he's doing. I get it. He wants to plant the seed of fear in the defense with the deep ball, and that's what it does. You throw a deep ball early in the game, you throw enough of them, DBs will back up a step or two. Safeties over the top, they will make sure that no receiver is even close to being behind them, and it opens up so many different passing windows. What big, giant passing windows. That's what he wants. He wants the basic defense to play scared.
Right, play on their heels.
And the defense and the deep ball forces you to play scared a little bit. It does. I mean, I fear the deep ball. I mean, that's the only thing that'll get you dog cussed by your coach on the sideline. Everybody understands DBs get beat. You get beat by the D ball, and not only your coach is gonna dog cuss you, but the D line's gonna dog cuss you. His teammates gonna dog cuss you. You just gave up a freebie. And I think Sark wants to take advantage of that psychologically and do that damage. But also, I think oftentimes when it's ineffective, it does damage, self-harm.
Oh, yeah.
It does damage to
the mental
his
part
own
of it.
team.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it throws off a young quarterback when he can't get into a rhythm because you're throwing too many deep balls and they're not connecting. That's if you're not connecting. Now, if you're connecting,
it's
all
party.
great.
It's a party.
It's Texas OU.
Yeah.
When you're connected, everybody's just like, oh man, exactly right.
Yeah.
Everybody's having a good time. Let's keep chunking those deep balls. But I think he should early on work the quick game and that's what he did versus Washington. Yep. I mean, that was more of the quick game, and then you let the deep ball come to you over time. But we'll see. I mean, I know Sark loves it. He's a big game hunter, and he's obsessed with the deep ball. He's jonesing for it, like Pookie from New Jack City. Got to have that deep ball. But I think oftentimes it ends up doing more harm than good. It's like a 3-point shot. Mm-hmm. You live or die by it. And when the 3-point shot's not going, isn't it cringeworthy to watch your team kind of shoot themselves out of a game?
Come on, man.
That's what Texas did at times with the D-ball. They threw themselves out of a game.
Yeah.
It was like, man, that was an opportunity. That was third down. That was first down. Now you're behind the chains.
Yeah, especially when you're like a 3rd and 3 and you throwing the ball 70 yards down the field and the dude's not even there or falls down on the route, and you're like, what are we doing? Get a first down and let's get to the next play. We can do this again. Let's at least get the chains to move.
Especially with a Bijan.
Exactly. When you got when you give the numbers every week, both of them make people miss, him and Rojo.
Yeah. So it's So I do think the passing game, honestly, this year is gonna have to be it. I don't know if Sark loves to run the ball, so they're going to run the football. There's no question about it.
1,000-yard rusher, right?
Yes, no doubt.
Yep.
But if you're looking at what's going to be the identity of the team, last year the identity was, hey, put some Bijan on it with a side of Rojo. as much as you can. Sark figured that out. Maybe a little too late, but he figured it out. This year, I do think the passing game's got to be your identity.
Yeah.
That's where all your strengths are. That's where all your weapons are. Your proven commodities.
Well, you talked about the locker room and the wide receiver room and how much depth they've got, and the new coach that came in, Chris Jackson. That's going to be a major part too of the success too. So you're talking about the strength, and now you're going to get taught by an NFL caliber coach that's going to teach you how to get open and teach you how to run routes and make you more prolific at that position. Yeah. That's going to be a good thing right there.
Yeah, that's why, like I said, it's big off seasons for Quinn. I'm expecting a huge leap from Quinn because the offensive line looks solidified, and your receiving core is one of the better receiving cores. And if Jay Witt stays healthy, I think they could end up being, a prolific bunch potentially. But that's all on the Quinn Ewers development. Speaking of development, I want to get into the McDonald's All-American game a little bit. The West team lost, I believe it was. I think it was 109-106. But Texas signee Ron Holland
looked good.
Was a McDonald's All-American. He played. He had an impressive stat line.
Yeah, he did.
Guys, 11 points, 6 rebounds, team high, 3 blocks, 2 assists, 2 steals. His defense was probably more highlight-worthy than his offense. He had some nice blocks, some like one of them chase-down blocks from behind, kind of Bron-esque when you chase it down from behind. But also, he's just a guy that really looks like he's just an athletic defender overall.
Yeah.
Long and rangy. He does fit, looks like right now he fits Texas basketball. Kind of fits the identity of a Texas basketball player when you watch him out there.
It's something that people get real excited when you watch him get up and down the floor, his explosiveness at the rim. I watched a lot of the workouts during that leading up to the game. I got the chance to watch a lot of those. And he has some explosiveness around the rim that you're not used to seeing for a young kid like that. And he seems to have a lot of composure, too. And I heard the story about him maturing and watching him grow up and making sure that each step of the way and each year. And Coach Terry said, he's a winner. He's a winner. That's all he does is win. So every level he's been at, he won games. And that is what is a huge part of coming into this culture and what Coach Terry's trying to build. He seems to be the right fit for him wanting to be in that type of culture.
Yeah, only 2 guys in the recruiting class, correct?
Yep.
It's him and A.J. Johnson.
A.J. Johnson.
I believe it is.
Yep.
So transfer portal, like it is with every team, is going to be huge.
Give it and take it away.
Yeah, exactly. Bronny also was a part of that McDonald's All-American game, too. Just shout out. 15 points. He looked good, 5 of 8.
He was hitting,
from 3-point range.
Hitting them threes, made it look easy.
Some people don't think Bronny deserves the McDonald's All-American status. Some people were very critical of it. I know Zay's been kind of critical of Bronny getting that status.
Yeah.
But hey, I know it's more. I know it's our PR campaign
for sure
behind it, but as long as he proves himself at every level,
every time he plays, he's been successful. So and he's playing against people that everyone sees as better than him. And he went out there and shot the lights out. And he played defense. And that's the other part of it, too. If you can play defense, it makes a huge difference on the way people view you. And he has played defense every single time I've seen him play.
Patrick, have you watched Bronny? You watch a lot of
I watch some highlights,
basketball.
but I haven't watched a game.
Watched
no.
Yeah.
So there's highlights. And I agree. He's not as bad as people, but he's basically been improving a lot because one of the things that he has the benefit of is that his dad is possibly the most obsessed with working to get better and working to keep his body right.
Fair.
So he comes from a family that has access to an insane amount of things to get better athletically, be healthier, and to improve your game.
And he's around a lot of good people to get mentally.
But he's taking advantage of that.
Yep.
So he's progressing at a level more than any of these other guys, because other guys are working in high school gyms, and even if they're good high schools, they're still not at the level of college. And Bronny is basically working at an NBA level of talent development, and a lot of these guys are working at high school level development. So he's just progressing a lot faster. Now, I don't know if his ceiling is as high as some of these other guys.
That's what I was going to ask you.
But his development is he's pacing ahead of everyone else developmentally.
So basically, it's like the question is, when does he hit that ceiling? Because you're right.
Well,
it's accelerated development.
But that's always the point is, that's if you can answer that question, you'd be the highest paid NBA draft expert or the GM somewhere else. Because that's everyone's question is, hey, man, can we get to the ceiling? We know what the ceiling could be, but what was the ceiling actually? Second floor. Yep. We thought he was in a high rise, but he had a second floor ceiling.
Duplex.
Yep.
Yeah, like that's a lot of these guys that get drafted in the NBA that go, man, well, his potential's here. Can he reach it? And Bronny's already shown, well, I've already gotten this far. You just don't know if there's an innate ability to have those pieces. Like Arturo Moore is a perfect example of a guy who has an innate feel for a game, right?
Yeah.
And when you watch him play, you're just like, I don't get how he saw that so quick and how he jumps on passes and things like that. That's a question. If Bronny has that as well, then he can step into that next level of being a player.
Yeah, some people say they like his feel for the game. I mean, apparently Skip Bayless is a huge Bronny fan
Well,
now.
that's not a good thing for anybody.
Yeah, I was going to say, poor kid.
no.
If you'd have gave me somebody else, I might have been okay with it.
He actually, he did. He tweeted this out, I believe, that Bronny is more clutch than LeBron.
Well, you know that's going to be a jab. You know that's going to be a jab for sure.
You got to go look it up. I was like, oh, that's a good one. There you go.
But again, to your point, he's actually right. Bronny's feel for the game is because he's been around it for so long.
He did say he liked his feel for the game.
Because he can see it. And there's a lot of things. He's not trying to force certain things.
He's like a veteran already.
Right. He's moved around. Like there was a shot that he made that guys were dribbling the ball and he kept moving towards the ball to the area where it's like, all right, make sure you see me because I'm about to knock this down. He could have went out there and peed down his leg, but he didn't. He performed at a level to where it's like, okay, and these are the elites of the elites. Let's not forget that.
That's a great point. This is an interesting conversation. All right, obviously,
no, that's fine. Let's
I get
roll.
too deep into stuff. So
no, let's roll.
In this country right now, there's a conversation about nepo babies. Mm-hmm. In every industry, right? The nepo baby in Hollywood, by the way, I think is where it's all started because Hollywood is full of nepo babies. But then the Kim Kardashian nepo baby,
Nicki
Minaj, Serena Williams size, Cardi B size, but is if they prove to be worthy or they prove to actually have an elite skill set or to have a marketable skill set, whatever it may be, and they can monetize it, well, I mean, yeah, they got an opportunity, but they cashed in on the opportunity.
Thank you.
The nepotism, all right, being a nepo baby may have gotten them an opportunity quicker, than it would have gotten you an opportunity, or somebody who was just an average Joe Schmo or Jane Schmo, whatever it is. But when you cash in on an opportunity and you actually prove that you are worthy of it and that you can either play at the elite level or perform at that elite level.
Thank you.
The nepo baby thing. Okay, I want my kid to be a nepo baby. I am hoping. I ain't got nothing for him right now or her. I'm sorry, kid, future kid. Like Rod B is not successful enough for you to be a nepo baby.
I'm working hard for it.
I'm working hard.
For
I probably won't be able to give you much of a leg up, but we're having to. I think in politics too. We've had these conversations in politics about these career politicians, and what you realize about these households. These young people who grow up in these households, whether they be entertainers or whether they be politicians or athletes, they're old souls.
Yep.
Like Shano grew up, all they know is football. Like when Shano was at the dinner table with Pops and they went on family vacations,
they was watching film.
They was talking football and watching film.
Exactly.
They were that's all they knew.
Exactly.
So to Patrick's point about the accelerated development, it's like, well, he was exposed to 4 times as much football as I was.
Thank you.
So his football intelligence and football IQ way more advanced than me. He's basically a prodigy when it comes to that. And I do think he's proven himself at the NFL level, but some people would disagree with that. But I know he's a nepo baby too, but I think he's Sean McVay's a nepo baby.
Yeah, they all are.
But I think that you get to a point where the nepotism gets you the opportunity, but you got to prove yourself.
Exactly.
Now, the ones that are frustrated, the ones who haven't really proven themselves, and they still keep getting all the privilege and all the opportunity, that's a little frustrating because that's because of who
you can get annoyed. You can get annoyed at the fact. I mean, you can't really get it, but you can say there's a fact of, yes, if somebody doesn't have to work a job when they're in college or work a job when they're in high school because their family is well off enough that they're actually able to get an internship working for a football team. So they're just years ahead of anywhere else could be because you're like, oh, no, I didn't have to take the normal path. You get mad at that, but you get mad at a lot of things in life if you want to get mad at them. Mm-hmm. The reality is it's not fair no matter how well you break it. I'm sure that those guys will sit there and go, well, yeah, it's not fair because I get yelled at even if I do a good job I didn't earn it. Everyone's going to be – you just have to do the best you can do with your ability. And if we go back to what Bronny is, Bronny right now is doing the best of what he can do given what he's been given. Yeah,
I totally agree. Like I said, even as a nepo baby. And they're in – I would say sports the coaching aside, because coaching is full of nepotism and nepo babies.
Yep.
But actually on the field, you do have to still earn it to a certain extent. Nobody really. I mean,
No, you get the one you're getting challenged the most too.
yeah,
They're
that's-
coming at
yeah.
you because of that.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with Bronny James. Bronny James is a guy that everybody wants to bust his head every time they see him.
Yep.
They don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other part. And that's already getting people out of their game too, because they're trying so hard to show that they are better than Bronny, that they're out there taking more shots than they're supposed to, trying to do too much, looking sloppy sometimes because they want to go against him. And it's like, bruh, just play your game. Don't worry about him. Don't worry about what the next man is doing. Worry about you. What does Coach Terry say? Stand where your feet are.
Stand where your feet are.
Yeah.
Make the T-shirts.
Make the T-shirts. Get them ready.
Someone says coaching and radio is full of nepotism also. I don't know about radio.
As long as they perform. That's what they say.
As long as they, I've been in radio a long
Broadcasting
time.
is broadcasting is a
lot.
general.
Yes.
Like
Not just
yeah,
talk
like look
radio.
at how many play-by-play announcers kids are also play-by-play announcers.
Exactly.
Okay. Well,
In
that's
broadcasting.
acceptable.
Totally
Yeah, yeah. That's,
So like
okay.
there's a lot of that
Yeah.
into it where it's just like, oh no, it's a job where you have to know somebody to get in.
Okay.
And
Broadcasting,
so
I can see that. But I'm saying,
broadcasting
just
is a
general
hole there is.
Radio, I don't know.
I mean,
if
Mike
the general
Golick's
radio.
kids got a radio gig.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
And it wasn't because he worked his way through broadcasting. He was a okay college football player who watched out of the NFL and was immediately given an ESPN job.
Right.
So like that exists, but it's not the norm. But there's plenty of it in broadcasting.
There's plenty of it.
There's
everywhere.
plenty of it. Yeah, in pretty
There's
much every
plenty
job
of
you're
it
gonna get.
everywhere. Yeah.
You're just not as famous, so you don't notice it.
Yeah, it's just it happens all over the damn place.
Yeah.
All right. By the way, I'm not anti, by the way, at all. Like I said,
Trust me.
I'm trying to get to the point where my future kid
Who you telling?
will be beneficiaries of plenty of nepotism.
Who you telling?
That's the goal.
Yeah. That's the golden rule.
The goal.
He who has the goal make the rule.
That is the goal, isn't it? All right, we'll come back. We got some NBA new stuff to Nuggets on the other side right here on Ball Loud 104.9 The Horn. All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. Uh-oh, you might need to silence the Specs text line just for a little while. It is a new theme Thursday, and we don't know what the theme is. And they might spoil it for you and guess it, but it's up to you. New theme Thursday, my man Patrick plays songs, and based on the song selection that he plays, we're supposed to gather clues and hints to bring us to the new theme of New Theme Thursday. All right, Arch. It's kind of an old school
No clue yet.
70s feel.
I mean, it is opening day, but I don't know if that has anything to do with it because of this song. I can't even see this song.
It's an old Sam and Dave song.
Okay, you might have hit it. Opening day is a pretty good guess. Is that it?
It is opening day.
It
is.
Yeah.
It is. This is "Knock It Out of the Park" by
Ah,
Sam
there
and
we
Dave.
There you go. All right, I like Knock It Out of the Park. Is the name of the song?
Knock It Out of the Park.
Is he talking about baseball?
I mean,
He
he's
better
talking
be.
about using. It's all references to baseball about how to treat women.
I was gonna say.
You gotta
I know
knock
you're
it out of
talking
the
about. I like
No,
that.
he's talking about baseball.
That's
Look,
creative.
there's a 90 baseball references in this song.
That is creative.
Like you got a kid to get on base. It ain't about hitting a single. You got to score.
Yeah.
You got to like all these little.
I mean,
things.
the greatest initial reference to sex and the double entendre sex and baseball was to get on first base, second base,
Yeah.
third base. It was a perfect description.
Yep.
And no, you hit a home run. And did we ever remember what first base was?
Holding hands.
First base is holding hands?
Yeah, man.
What decade you from?
All right, don't forget.
Hey, and
Are you,
Khalid,
are you courting women
Don't
as well?
forget. Yes,
You
I'm
got a-
definitely
you got
courting.
a daughter. Oh, you got a daughter. That's
Yeah.
right. He's got a daughter.
Come on,
okay.
man.
All right.
Hey, first base is not looking at each other from across the room in our desire.
Yeah.
Okay. He's
We
got a
holding
daughter.
hands from the rim. Just so you know, we go together.
That explains it, why Hard says holding hands was
That's
first
right.
base. Well, that was your first base, and that should be most people's first base. It wasn't my. Was that your first base?
No.
Y'all see, that's y'all's problem right there. Y'all over there trying to hit inside the Parkers.
No. Hey, that's a great one. You are right. Most dudes are trying to hit an inside the park home run. Well said, there, sir. Well said. You're right. And most of us fail miserably.
Exactly.
trying to hit that. And
They
you're
were
like,
calling
hey,
them. They were like, "That's a little league home run."
You get tagged out trying to get to
Exactly.
what does
third.
Hodge always say? Get them singles,
Hey,
baby.
yeah, just work
Go
your way
eyeball.
around
Work
and
your
hit the
way
ball the
around there.
opposite
Go
way. That's
small
right.
ball.
Exactly.
Well, I don't want to go small ball, but you get my point.
I
yeah?
know your point.
Manufacture some runs. Don't go small
Exactly.
ball. Go hard
Don't
ball.
be trying to. That's right. Go hard ball. Don't be going over there with no blue chew.
Wow. Okay. Real quick, let's talk some NBA just really quickly while we got some time here. So the Spurs, congratulations, Patrick.
Y'all look like y'all trying to wrap it up.
No, they have basically secured a bottom 3 record.
Yeah.
So
Hey, that makes it. You know how annoying this season would have been if we were the 4th worst team in the league.
yeah,
Because you're like,
Hornets
look,
are,
we're
right?
gonna have to have a bad season. We're gonna have to have one. But if you're the 4th, then you're like, everything we did to tank this season was for nothing.
That was a good point.
Now I just get to sweat it out until the draft lottery.
Houston, Detroit, and the Spurs all have the same odds now.
Yes.
To get the number 1 overall pick. So there you go. The tankathon, baby.
And let's be clear, everyone who's in the lottery technically has a chance to get the number 1 overall pick. Odds would tell you it will go to one of those 3 teams, but it could easily be the 4th, 5th, 6th team.
True.
That just, it's a lottery.
It's a lot of,
It could head wherever it is.
Yeah, because I think the
You
Hornets.
just want to get a chance to be in it.
So
Well,
you're telling me there's
hey
a
man, you want the
chance.
most tickets is what you want the most raffle tickets.
No doubt.
But that's the Spurs when they got Tim Duncan, it wasn't weighted like this. The Celtics had the worst record. Everybody thought the Celtics were going to be getting him, and then San Antonio jumped the Celtics
Yep.
to get Tim Duncan. So it has happened. The Spurs have been a beneficiary of it in the past. So hopefully this will not happen again. Spurs, go ahead, get that Wembanyama, and we're just smooth sailing.
We need H-Town to get him, but there's a chance. There's a really good chance he's in Texas.
There's a very, I mean,
that's like
it's a very good chance.
There's a really high chance.
Hey, and
he's
if
in
Dallas
Texas.
keeps losing,
That's a great point, though.
Yep.
Speaking of, might as well just jump on
Jump
over there.
right into that.
Yeah, the Mavs lost to the 76ers 116-118. Now, I believe it's a 4th loss in 5 games for them. OKC won last night. They have a tiebreaker advantage also over Dallas with a 1-game lead now for the last spot in the play-in. So, we got four games or 5 games left? Man,
somewhere around there.
I want the Mavs in. I really want them to get in.
I told you this was a disaster run.
Yes, you did. Yes, you
I
did.
told you this is
you
not
did.
going to work because there are so many other deficiencies on that team. And then the fact that our man, Luka, is not having fun. I don't smile anymore. I don't have a smile on my face when I'm playing. I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm just not enjoying it. Things away from here are not good.
He also mentioned that it's also off the court stuff too.
Yep.
But yes, of course, because y'all losing. That's a big part.
That's a big part of it. That's why you're not smiling. And then you over there complaining about every single call and not getting back on defense. That's kind of a you problem, Luka.
Is Luka dating anybody?
He might need to. If he ain't.
Does he have a serious significant other?
He doesn't. Well, I haven't seen him on TMZ.
I don't think he does.
Yeah.
So I was like, if he does, I imagine your significant other hearing that you're really unhappy and there's a lot of stuff involved in it and off the court stuff. It probably hurts them too. Like, oh man, he's unhappy.
Right.
You know, you was unhappy like that. I thought
Yeah.
he was just playing bad. Your team just sucked.
That's what it is. That's why he's unhappy.
But no, it's a big part of it. But the Mavs, how about this stat? This is what they've been in almost every game though with Kyrie on the squad. And by the way, Kyrie not the reason that the Mavs are having issues, as Harge mentioned. It's Jason Kidd more, and then it's more the roster construction, anything else. They played in 50 clutch time games. They're 25-25
Yeah.
in clutch time games, getting the score within 5 points in the last 5 minutes. But, I mean, they just can't find a way to win in clutch time. They ended that game against they ended that game with 76ers, 2 of 9 from the field.
Right.
Luka was the only Mav to score in the final 6 minutes. Luka and Kyrie combined for just 5 shots in the final 8 minutes.
Yeah. That's again, it goes
insane.
back to what we talk about. Who is the guy? Who is your go-to?
They don't know.
Who is going to be the one that's going to take over? Jason Kidd, right?
Yeah,
That
who's
goes back
leading
to
this
your
team?
part.
Who's drawing up plays? Who's trying to put anything together? Or who gave up on this team already and should have been fired weeks ago if you wanted to make the playoffs? Jason Kidd.
Yep.
Like I get fully that you said, hey, to build this team,
Jason Lovey Smith Kidd.
if you want to build this team, he's like, look, this is the way I want to build a team. This is the way I coach. This is the winner. And you completely went the opposite way. The Mavs between Jason Kidd and management went a complete opposite direction of how to build this team and how to improve it. But at a certain point, you have to want to win games. And I feel like that culture in Dallas now is so insanely bad because the culture now is no one's having fun.
Yep.
Like that game last night, they're down, I think, 4 or 5 points. And Luka goes to drive to the basket with one of the laziest drives you've ever seen. Doesn't really jump for it. Doesn't go for the dunk. Just kind of lays it up lazily. And Joel Embiid makes a great block.
Yep.
But you're like, he's not even running to the basket. He's just slowly rolling over the basket, using his body to block off a defender, but letting Joel Embiid have 10 minutes to walk over slowly and block this shot. And you can't go, well, no, that's, the rest of the team's not stepping up to it. You're like, no, the star player of this team is unhappy because he's not winning because he can't play the style of basketball he wants to play. And Jason Kidd, instead of coaching this team and getting them, has basically given up because he thinks he doesn't have any power over they want to keep Luka. And I don't get why you haven't just moved on from that and said, hey, we got to figure out something because we're rolling downhill really, really too fast right now. Like this is
Yeah, you just want to make the playoffs at this point, and right now you're on a downward spiral.
Yeah.
They were in a great position to at least make the playoffs.
Oh no, they were in a great
Like
position to
2
be a
threes.
4 or 5 seed.
Yeah,
And now they're 11.
it's getting worse. Like
They're
they're
out of the play-in right now.
And the whole thing was, just give them some more time. They just they just acquired Kyrie. Give them more time, they'll figure it out. But I'm with you, Patrick. I think your criticism of Jason Kidd is well founded. I think I don't know if he's checked out, quiet quitting. I don't know what the hell
He
it
is
is.
definitely quiet
But
quitting.
when we keep playing these audio clips of him, and
Yes.
we can't tell if he's being sarcastic or if he's, trying to play it as a straight man. But he's making some comments. He called his team dog-ish the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Like
and it's-
immediately. Yeah, like
and they were, by the way,
immediately.
they did play like that. But still,
Yeah.
you shouldn't be calling them that.
No, but
Yeah.
and it's I mean this is the other deal is once you had Jason Kidd and he told you I can't coach a guy like Luka Doncic because we have to have stretch threes because Luka Doncic wants to drive and pass the ball. That's what he wants to do, right?
Yep.
And what Jason Kidd would like to have is a post up center, play inside out basketball. He'd like to play old school basketball, and he doesn't want to have a guy he wants to have a guy in the paint to play defense.
Yep.
That doesn't work with Luka Doncic. So at what point in this Mavs organization of structure and talking with Jason Kidd at the beginning of the year did they just come across and I get when they signed Christian Wood and they took the waiver on Christian Wood, I think that's when Jason Kidd was kind of halfway out because that was definitely not his guy. He wanted a guy to come in and play defense, not another stretch 4.
Yep.
And it just seems like it's just been going downhill ever since. And it never cease to amaze me that you have a guy you actually you're lucky enough to have one of the billionaire owners who has no problem spending money, and you still can't figure out a way to hire basketball people to make this actually work.
Yeah, no. I hope I hope the Mavs make the postseason. It'd be great for NBA fans. I don't think they're going to make a run, but it'd be great to have those 2 stars in there. But right now,
look,
it's
who doesn't want to
unlikely.
see a playing game with Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic?
I think everybody's excited about that. We were excited about it anyway, not anymore. Real quick before we go to break, Sacramento Kings did make history. They made the playoffs for the first time in 16 seasons.
One of my favorite teams to watch.
Since 05-06. Have you been watching the Kings?
I do watch the Kings.
Well, man, that's great because not a lot of teams have been watching the Kings. They were a 14.5-point favorite versus the Blazers last night. By the way, the last time they were a 14.5-point road favorite was January 7, 2005.
Right.
Chris Webber, Pejas, Stojakovic, and Mike Bibby on that squad.
Hey, by the way, Stojakovic's son was playing in that that All-American game as well.
Nepo, baby.
Yeah.
Nepo.
Nobody wants to bring that up.
Keegan Murray, you've been watching all the Kings. Keegan Murray's been lighting it up.
Oh, yeah.
He's got the record now for the most 3-pointers made for a rookie.
And De'Aaron Fox is one of the most electric players in the game right now.
And Domantas Sabonis is basically leading the NBA
in everything.
In dribble handoffs.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing. Like, he's basically got over 1,000 dribble handoffs, and the next player has less than 500.
It's because of the way they run their offense.
Yeah, the way they run their offense. Nobody has more dribble handoffs than the Kings. Anyway, all right, we'll come back. We'll get into Flex on the other side, right here on Ball No Line, 104.9. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. Let me tell you about my friends over at Twin Peaks, because if you're looking for somewhere to enjoy all of your favorite sports, enjoy all of your favorite teams, you can do it right there at your local Twin Peaks, folks. There's nothing better than Twin Peaks. I enjoy it for plenty of reasons, and you will too. And it doesn't matter if you're going to Twin Peaks, like I said, to enjoy the sports action. It's a great sports bar, but it's so much more than just a sports bar. It's one of my favorite menus out there, folks. It got a great scratch menu. That means every delicious dish on the menu is made from scratch. So if you're thinking about a new favorite spot for lunch, for dinner, or those late night eats, don't forget about Twin Peaks, folks. And also at your local Twin Peaks, you can enjoy a great happy hour. Happy hour is back at Twin Peaks, and it is better than ever at one of the best happy hours in the city from 2 to 7 p.m. So you got a while from Monday through Friday. Get on over to Twin Peaks. You can enjoy sweet deals if you're a baller on a budget like me, like dollar off all wine, liquor, cheap shots, and freezing cold 29-degree draft brews. And for me, usually it's a Bud Light, but for you, whatever beer you choose, but you'll get it in that 29-degree cold glass, folks. It is the best way to enjoy your Twin Peaks experience. But also, they have great deals like $2 appetizers, $4 appetizers, and $6 appetizers during their happy hours. So go check out those late night eats, also the happy hours at your local Twin Peaks. And don't forget, you can go to your local Twin Peaks and find out what type of specials are happening there. Go to TwinPeaksRestaurant.com, and there's one near you, I guarantee, at the Stastny location, San Marcos location, or the Round Rock location. That's Twin Peaks Eats, Drinks, and Scenic Views. Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. New theme Thursday, and the theme of the day, of course, opening day. Opening day for Major League Baseball. So a lot of conversation and celebration about opening day for Major League Baseball. As a matter of fact, next segment, we'll start talking about opening day. We'll give you an update on the Astros. Go Astros! But also, that's later on. But the Rangers hosting the Phillies. We'll give you an update on that coming up next segment. But go to FLXATX.com, FLXATX, and all your social media platforms. Yesterday, the Flex crew actually had their show. It was a great show. And actually, Kinfolk.
That's right.
You had Kinfolk's Nico Hamilton on there, man.
That's right. Nico was there talking about his time and what's going on at Lake Travis and how his recruitment is going and what he expects from the team next year. So it was good to see him get a good opportunity for you to get a chance to talk to him, see him up close and personal.
I hadn't met him, and he's bigger than I thought. I'll admit that.
Got to meet his dad, my kinfolk Tony, and they had a good time. Zach called me afterwards, and he's like, dude, I didn't know that everybody in your family got jokes. And I'm like, that's how we roll, dog. We all have fun. That's what it's all about.
Once they get to know you, they got jokes.
Exactly. We got jokes.
Another update about the Flex fam. Jacob Henry. He is the son of one Mark Henry, WWE legend. He's announced that he has relocated.
Yes.
He put out a tweet about an hour ago saying, my family has relocated to Leander, and I'm now attending Vandergrift High School. I'm very excited to join the brotherhood and the wonderful community Vandergrift has. I look forward to growing as an athlete and as a man. Had a viper emoji and a heart emoji there too. That's wow.
That's a big move.
That's a big move.
Yeah, that's
man.
a big
Former
move.
Lake Travis Cavalier, now a Vandergrift Viper.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, so, I mean, that was one of the things that everybody was talking about the other day, and I didn't bring it up or want to talk about it. You and I were talking,
we discussed it a little.
Until they made the announcement, it was something that I wanted them to be able to talk about themselves because there's a lot that goes into these kinds of things. Obviously, moving is emotional as well, and when you move to a different spot, you got to get to know everybody and start your career all over again, so to speak. But for him, being a person that everybody obviously knows because of what he's done, he's been on the All Flex team, high school area, does a great job wrestling, powerlifting. I mean, he's a jack of all trades. I saw a story about him just today, about him in the choir and being an accomplished singer
I did
as
not know
well.
he was in the choir.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So he does a little bit of everything. He's a well-rounded young man. And now for him to go over to Vandergrift, finish out his year, that's nothing but blessings for them and best of luck.
Yeah, no doubt. So Flex
Now
fan.
Nico got to try to run away from him.
Yeah, you're right. True that. Now the tables have turned. There you go. So shout out to my man Jacob Henry. Congratulations to him as well, and congratulations to Vandergrift too.
Yep,
Getting
no
a hell of
doubt.
a player. Go to FLXATX.com, FLXATX on all your social media platforms. We'll come back. We're talking Major League Baseball opening day. We'll talk about the Stros, go Stros, and also talk about the Rangers. Give you an update on Rangers Phillies right here on Ball Don't Lie, 104.9 The Horn. Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. It is a new theme Thursday, and thanks to my man Patrick, the Idealionaire, we are celebrating opening day in Major League Baseball, and basically that's what the new theme of the day is. It's all about baseball-related jams that you're hearing right now. And, man, what was the first one you played? What was the name of that one?
Knock It Out of the Park.
Knock It Out of the Park. That actually might be my favorite so far.
yeah.
That was pretty good.
Hey, man, I'm sure he's going to have some more in
It
here
was
in a
very
little bit.
suggestive, but I'd never heard that one before. A lot of these I've heard before.
No, that
somewhere.
was one I never heard before
I'd
either.
never
But when
heard-
I was looking through trying to find baseball, so I was like, all right, this one works.
That one. Who sung the
Sam and Dave.
Okay. That
Well,
one-
Sam and Dave, they did Soul Man.
Oh, I didn't
The
realize.
original,
okay.
right?
Yeah, the
The
original. Well, the
Oh.
original was actually Isaac Hayes, but
Oh, that's
Soul
true.
Man,
Interesting.
the famous version of Soul Man was
Okay.
Sam and Dave. Yeah.
I didn't know that. There you go. That's why my musically themed days of the week always broaden my horizons a little bit.
Find out something new.
Yes, you do. Okay, we got some Major League Baseball conversation happening here. We'll talk about the Stros. Go Stros. We'll talk about the Rangers and give you an update on those Rangers. You can tell by the sound of my voice. Not really excited about giving that matchup and that update, I should say, about that matchup. Before we do that, Harge, what you got coming up for the people on Harge Knock Life?
We got Express President Chris Amadeus previewing tomorrow's first game at the Dale Diamond. So Chris Amadeus, we went to spring training together this year with the Rangers, and he's going to break it down on what's going on around the ballpark this year at the Dale Diamond.
Oh, I like that. They got some of that new
They
ballpark
got some of that new ballpark food.
Yeah,
they do.
stuff that I don't know if I can eat it in my old age. Like stuff. I don't know if I can do
You
that
can go,
anymore.
at least try it.
Nah. Well, yeah, I could try it.
You can
but
try
I can't. No way I can put down some of
Yeah.
that stuff, man. It's just
Yeah.
thinking about it, give me the bubble guts.
Yep.
But it sounds delicious. So obviously we'll get into some baseball conversation. We'll also, like I said, give you the update here right now. The Rangers are down 4-0.
Yeah.
Top of the fourth to
Jacob
the Phillies.
DeGrom.
Oh, DeGrom.
Jacob DeGrom's over there struggling a little bit.
Oh, big money?
Yeah, big money.
Big money.
Big money, new
Oh,
league.
big
money,
money.
new league, but facing a team that he's faced for quite some time. So he should be able to handle the Phillies. But let's be honest, the Phillies are the defending National League champions. They represented the NL in the World Series. So they trying to get back, and they starting off early today.
Yeah.
Don't read too much into it.
No, yeah, I'm with you. It's a long season.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a long season. That's a nice catch right there.
There it is.
Yeah, and by the way, game still, I mean, you got 5 innings, so you're good. Still got time. And how I want to know about when does this game start? Because I'm trying to keep up with
3:05.
Start at 3:05.
Yep.
All right.
3:05
and
was the
you're
first
in the
pitch.
top of the fourth. All right, because that's obviously one of the big topics of conversation is about the new, not about the new rules, and one of those new rules, of course, is the pitch clock for Major League Baseball. So we'll pay attention to that. Let's talk about the Astros a little bit. They are not in action just yet. They're going to face off against the White Sox. Framber Valdez is going to be on the mound pitching off against. It's actually a really good matchup on the mound.
Yeah.
You got a matchup of basically top 5, basically both top 5 AL Cy Young contenders from last season.
Mm-hmm.
I think Framber Valdez finished 5th. I believe Dylan Case for the White Sox finished 2nd, actually.
Cease.
6th? Cease. Oh, sorry.
Dylan Cease. Yeah.
Cease. I apologize.
No, you're fine.
2nd. So, yeah, I mean, it's supposed to be a really good matchup.
They got some, the one thing about Framber is, I'm telling y'all, ever since he got here, that dude has been special. When he got them braids, extensions put in his head, now he got everybody on the
Does he
on
still
the
have
road.
those?
Oh, yeah. It
Really?
seems like it's even longer now.
Well, now it's real. Maybe it's
It
real
ain't-
hair.
Man, come on, man.
Come on, man.
I mean, a lot of people grow hair. It don't grow that fast, and that long, that wide. So, but yeah, it's going to be a good matchup tonight. I'm excited about it. I mean, first off, it's opening day, so if you're not excited about opening day, you just don't have a pulse. Whether it's whatever your team may be, maybe if you don't even like baseball. But people always get excited for the first game of the year because everybody's team has a chance.
Mm-hmm. So you're telling me there's a chance.
Until you don't. And then things change for you. So it's been good to watch. I was really excited to watch it. And Major League Baseball is back. And don't forget, you got 162 of these things. So you'll be all right. They'll be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, exactly. For the Astros, they got some injuries, so they're going to start off the season a little hobbled.
Yep.
No Jose Altuve, of course. He's got the right thumb injury. Lance McCullers Jr. is dealing with the strained forearm still, and Michael Brantley is on the IR with the right shoulder injury. It is still
And Dubon's going to be the starting second baseman today.
okay.
So, for
And-
your Stros.
There you go. And but I mean, either way, the Astros still, even with those guys out, I mean, they still have one of the most impressive, formidable rosters. So they still should be fine until they get all those guys back, or at least a couple of those guys back. They haven't lost an opening day
Oh, my gosh. Here we go.
they're 10-0 in their last 10 opening days.
And I like it.
I believe so.
I mean, those are some good numbers for my friends that like to partake.
Yeah.
10-0
I
in
believe
opening
it's a
days.
Major League Baseball record. So they're 10-0
Okay.
in their last 10 opening days. Chicago has lost 4 straight opening days.
Oh, my goodness.
But that doesn't mean anything.
I'm like, oh, there's so many things that I can do here
Yeah.
on this. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, anything could happen. It is in H-Town, so
Yep.
I'm sure, yeah.
And are they getting is the banner going up tonight? And then they
I
get
think
their
I
rings?
saw the rings are tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't know
Okay.
if it's tonight.
The banner may be going up tonight, though.
Maybe you're right.
Yeah, the banner may be going out. Megan Thee Stallion is throwing out the first pitch.
They do have some festivities.
Oh, yeah, it's a party going on right now.
Yeah, they have. So here it is. The Astros kick off their season with, I think, Houston native Cody Johnson's going to sing the national anthem. Mark Wahlberg's going to make the play ball call. I don't know, what's Mark Wahlberg's connection to H-Town?
Exactly.
I don't know.
Maybe he opened a restaurant. Maybe they
You got a
opened
Wahlburgers there?
in the stadium.
They probably do.
Maybe.
But that's still.
Maybe.
Come on.
Maybe.
That needs to be given to
I'll give
somebody
maybe.
who is who's
not,
representing
not, a,
Frenchies.
not a
H-Town.
blatant Red
Frenchies.
Sox fan, right? Isn't he a
Yeah,
Red Sox
exactly,
fan?
man. Who's want
Yeah.
a connection to the city? That's crazy.
Oh.
Come on. Can't just be giving that privilege away.
That's a great
an honor.
point. That's a
Mark
great point.
I like Mark Wahlberg, by the way. I'm not a hater of Mark Wahlberg, but
Yeah.
that's ridiculous. Yeah, and I think, you're right. Megan Thee Stallion is involved with the festivities.
She's throwing out the first pitch.
on the
Yep.
first pitch.
National anthem sung by Cody Johnson and play ball by Mark Wahlberg. And then tomorrow they get the World Series ring. Lyle Lovett sings the national anthem. Jason Castro throws out the ceremonial first pitch, and Paul Wall has the play ball call.
Paul Wall, baby.
That makes more sense. Well, I guess
Yeah.
you could give it to him on day one. Somebody
Why
else.
not?
You could have gave it to Bun B
Give it to somebody
or
else.
Slim Thugger.
Somebody H-Town related.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes more sense.
Yep.
That's crazy. That doesn't make. I can't. I don't really get it. Had D'Amico Ryans do it. Go get the new head
Ooh,
coach
that's
do
a
it for
good
the
They
team.
don't
one.
want to. They don't want to rub the Texans off on the Astros right now. The Astros be winning.
No, come
I don't want to
on.
rub. I want to rub any of that stank off
D'Amico's
on them
about
yet.
to turn
That
around.
stank
Should have
on
been
him.
J.J. Watt. I like the texter. It should have been J.J. Watt.
That's true.
J.J. Watt's back in town. He would gladly have done that.
Watch that stank off him. I love that.
Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, that is.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's pretty
That makes
interesting.
no sense at all.
Yeah.
Come on. Have more H-Town pride than that. All right. Anyway, that's my only
I
complaint.
like it.
That's my only complaint about it. But Framber Valdez on. Oh, by the way, Dylan Cease, when he faced the Astros the last 3 times, or sorry, his last 4 starts, I should say, 0-3. 6.30 ERA in his last 4 starts versus Houston, and he is 0-1 at Houston. So, there you go.
All right, I've done my research.
Uh-oh.
Mark Wahlberg has a salsa company with Alex Bregman.
Ah, there you go.
I don't give a damn.
I'm just telling you, that is a Bregman call right there.
So, yeah, Bregman, come on. That should be a sacred, like, what? Come on, that's crazy.
It is a new tequila infused salsa from Alex Bregman's Breggy Bomb Foods.
Breggy
Guys,
Bomb.
I think we could come up with
I agree with you on all these counts.
35 people
Yeah.
that would be that
Bun B,
that
True
better
Burgers.
deserve the honor of doing the play ball call than in a Houston Astros game than Mark
No,
Wahlberg.
look, Rob Babers is on that list above Mark Wahlberg.
I think I would be.
You
Exactly.
should be.
Vince Young.
VY.
Yeah.
Oh, they're gonna have
VY
plenty of
did it.
games, but it should be open today. One of Houston's own should be out there doing that.
Marcus Mattress Mack do it.
Oh, because he lost a lot of money the last time he bet.
They won a lot of money, too.
Yeah. So my boy just texted me. He said the Astros are 10-0 on opening day since joining the AL.
Yeah, since joining the AL.
Yeah, and that's to tie a major league record with the Boston Bean Eaters that was from 1887 to 1896.
Oh, so it is a Major League Baseball record?
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go.
No, they're really good on opening day, but they don't have Jose Altuve and Jose Altuve. You brought up a really good point yesterday. He usually starts slow anyway.
Yeah,
so.
he does.
But a couple of guys have been hot in spring ball. Jeremy Pena, your boy. You talked about Jeremy Pena from the jump. You're the first on the Jeremy Pena bandwagon that I know of. He's hitting 324. At least he was hitting 324 in the spring. Abreu, everybody's excited about him.
He is.
Hit 292 in spring ball with 2 home runs, 11 RBIs. Looked good. And Kyle Tucker with very few at bats.
Well, because he played for the USA team, and he hit home runs in those games. He was a major part of the success. Ended up spraining his ankle, I believe, in one of the games, and that's why they were really worried about him. But now he's back in the mix, so that's what's been going on right now. And then here's the other thing: Yordan Alvarez has been out. He's been dealing with a hand issue, but he's going to be back playing. He's batting second today. And the banner goes up today, so I was correct about that, and they get their rings tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, it's always bad mojo. Sometimes it's not, though. Sometimes the team is distracted by all the, all of the hoopla and the celebration having to do with the ring ceremony and all that kind of stuff. So it could work out in the White Sox favor as well there. But Kyle Tucker hitting 421 in the spring and very few, I think 19 at bats, but looked good in a little bit of time that he did get to see action in the spring. And Yordan Alvarez, there's a lot of excitement about him. I mean, he did have that injury last year, so it cut his season short, and he was on a tear for a while. He's probably the hottest hitter in Major League Baseball for a long time. I mean, he's a guy that should be projected to hit over 50 home runs this year, right?
Oh, yeah.
If he stays healthy.
Oh, yeah.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, he's definitely one of those guys that will be able to swing the bat for quite some time, and he's definitely one of the most exciting players in the game. The fun part about it is Abreu is going to be a great asset to them because he can leave the yard at all times too. So you're going to have to pick your poison on both of them, and he's a former MVP as well. So Abreu is nasty at first base.
Yeah, right now a lot of excitement around the Astros. There should be. So it's a long season, but we'll see if it starts off hot for the Astros. But right now, not starting so hot for the Rangers. They got a base hit there, though.
Yeah.
They're down 5.
Oh, that's my boy Seager.
There you go.
Yeah,
big money.
Big money.
At least some of that big money showing up.
There it is.
5-0 lead for Philly right now over the Texas Rangers. A lot of upset folks on the Specs text line, 512-337-3776. Actually, not a lot of folks upset. A lot of upset Rangers fans on the Specs text line.
There you go.
They're very upset about the performance of Jake DeGrom. Yeah, it's all right. It's a long season. It's all right. It's a long season, man. At least they spent some money.
They did.
I think you'd be more upset if you had this result that you had. Well, I guess some people will be frustrated. Like, hey, at least it was last year. You didn't have hope because they weren't spending money, but now they spent the money, and they still look like last year's Rangers.
And it's early, guys. Come on, just wait. Y'all don't jump off it just yet. Your Rangers are gonna be in the mix.
DeGrom is the garbage.
Craziness, man, already.
Yeah, they already. Yeah, I agree. It's too early, guys, to just
like game one. They already get away from them. They're terrible.
Kind of doomsday DeGrom mentality. All right,
yeah,
we got to hold off on that.
No doubt.
Give the man some time. All right, that little baseball discussion. We'll get back to some other baseball updates. Of course, we'll do that in the 6 o'clock hour as well. Hearts does have a very special guest coming up. It's going to be who you got coming
Chris
up?
Amadeus.
That's right, president
of the Round Rock Express.
That is correct. All right, so we'll get off a little bit early just to make sure we got time for a very special guest coming up next. Also. Later on, we'll get back to Sark audio from Texas spring football. He had a media availability after practice. We got some audio from the Texas football head coach. We'll get to that coming up a little bit later on. All of that and more right here on Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn.
Mike Harge here, and I want to talk to you about my friends over at Allstat Beer. Allstat is true German beer made with 100% true German ingredients. It's brewed right in the Texas Hill Country, right up the road in Fredericksburg. You can take a trip up there at their beautiful Allstat Brewery off of 290. The brewery prides itself on its award-winning German-style beers. The Great American Beer Festival awarded the Allstat Lager a gold for the second time. They also have a tap room where you could take a trip out there and then try more flavors. I kind of like the lager myself, but I also like the Pilsner that they have. Go out there and try it for yourself. You can enjoy some great food with some great friends, and of course, you can plan a tour today. They also have live music, so get out there this weekend and enjoy that. So plan a trip today with all your friends. Go to allstatbeer.com to find a local watering hole where you can enjoy some or where you can pick some up on the way home. Make Allstat your beer of choice. It's made with true 100% true German ingredients. That means German hops, malts, and yeast, and of course that natural hill country water. Allstat beer, no impurities, no regrets. Welcome back to a new theme Thursday edition of Ball Don't Lie. It's your boy Hardball Hard. You can follow me on Twitter at Hardball Hard. You can follow my man Rod Babers at Rod Babers. And you can follow the man behind the glass at It's Patrick Davis. We also love it when you're a part of the show. Hit us up on the Specs text line, 512-337-3776. And joining us on the Vaqueros Cafe and Cantina hotline is a man that likes to give me a bunch of crap, but you know what? I accept it, and he is a good friend of mine. He's also the president of the Round Rock Express. You can follow him at expresspress.com. At Express Press right now is my man, Chris Armendariz. Chris, what's going on, brother?
Not much. How are you?
I'm great, man. I got my wallet back, so things are really, really good.
Hey, I make fun of you because you do the things to yourself. You make me laugh, and it's like, hey, you're an old baseball player, and so you know what we do is we rag on each other.
That's
so
right.
I love it, and good. It's all in good love.
No doubt about it. So tomorrow is opening day for the Round Rock Express. Today is opening day across Major League. Before we get into what's going on tomorrow, talk about opening day to you and what it means to you.
Mike, I mean, look, as you know, being a baseball player, we grow up in the state of Texas. You grow up, wanting to be a University of Texas baseball player. You grow up wanting to be a Major League Baseball player. And so opening day is just a special day. You get through football, you get through the Super Bowl, and you're waiting for it, and there's just something special in the air. For me, it's like waking up on Christmas morning. All the hard work in the off season. We were out at spring training a couple of weeks ago, and you get a chance to see those kids and the excitement of the hard work they put in the off season. And we get here, we're going to have 11,000 people in Del Diamond tomorrow, flyovers. I mean, it's going to be come 7:05. It's going to be a neat night.
No doubt about it. And speaking of flyover, you got a chance to be in the airplane flying over the Del Diamond, taking pictures and checking out what it looks like. What was that like yesterday?
It was scary, is what it was like. I was telling somebody earlier, it's probably one of the most amazing, scary things I've ever done at the same time. But the group, Falcon Flight out of Georgetown, Falcon Flight Formation, had myself, Jackson Ryan, and Connor Truitt, one of our staff members. We worked this through the Chief of Police, Alan Banks, here in Round Rock, and they're doing the flyover tomorrow night. But they said, hey, we'd like to take those guys up and kind of show them around. And we pulled in the airport in Georgetown, and I saw that little plane. I think my heart dropped. I was like, I don't know, guys. And they were giving me a hard time, and I was like, man, if I don't do this, they're going to rag on me for the rest of my life. And so we jumped in that little plane, and it was one of the most amazing, scary things I've ever done. But I'll tell you what, we were about 500 feet over Del Diamond. Tomorrow, with fans in the park, they're going to be a little higher, 1,000 feet, I think. But it's going to be pretty cool, and looking forward to it. I was like, it's one of those things, one of those life experiences that you get to do, and I'm glad I did it. I think if I would have known what we were doing beforehand, I probably wouldn't have done it. But faith over fear is what we say. Faith over fear.
No doubt about it. So talk a little bit about it. We're talking to Express President Chris Armendariz. He is breaking down his flight yesterday over the Del Diamond. But talk about what people are going to see tomorrow when they come to the Del Diamond. I talk about this all the time whenever people are asking me about what's going on at the ballpark. I always say, Chris told me a long time ago that he can't he can't control what happens on the field, but he can handle the experience of what happens outside of the field. So talk about the experience that people can expect this year at the Del Diamond.
Well, look, I think tomorrow night, first of all, we've got fireworks both nights. Gates are going to open at 5 o'clock tomorrow. We've got a pregame party for our season ticket members, kind of a meet the team. And then the first 2,000 fans will receive an Express hat by Now Maxwell Family Dealerships. We got brew reviews from our partners with Brown Distributing and Bud Light. Stilt walkers, there's 360 photo booths. I told you about the flyover. One of the things that's going to be special is, we do a memorial first pitch after all the players get announced, right before we start playing the game. Our manager walks the ball out to the pitcher. He throws it to home plate. It goes to third base, shortstop, second base to right field, to center field, and then the left fielder gets it and throws it out of stadium. And what that symbolizes is everybody that we lost from last season to this season. It's just a moment of silence and a chance to kind of think of the people we lost, and then we're going to play this baseball game tomorrow night. Throwing out the ceremonial first pitch, we lost one part of our baseball family a couple of weeks ago, Jeff Ontiveros. Jeff was a Round Rock kid that won the state championship in 1997 and then won the national championship playing for University of Texas. And so Jeff's wife and his daughter will be out tomorrow night to do the ceremonial first pitch. And look, it's going to be a fun moment. And look, Harge, you know what baseball means to me, and you know the loss and the adversity I've been through in my life. And baseball and the Dell Diamond was always a solace for me. So when things like that happen, we always try to be the helpers in those situations and just bring the family together. I think we got over 100 of his friends and family coming out, and it's going to be a special night for them. But we're going to have a great time. We're going to play some baseball, and the weather's going to be great. So we're inviting everybody to come out. Tomorrow's going to be one of the biggest opening days we've had in my 14 years.
And I love that. I love that you are doing that, and you guys continue that tradition every year. And if you can get there early, please do, because of what he said. It is a unique experience when you watch everybody throw the baseball around the field. It's almost like around the horn, but everybody gets to touch it, and it is an exciting part of it. One of the things that we were talking about earlier is the new food that you guys got out there. I don't want to put you on the spot, but if you know of any of the new foods that everyone can try, make sure you let everybody know which ones you like, because I know you've tried them.
Well, look, we had a media tasting yesterday, and I'll tell you two of the things. Our partner with Ryan Sanders Sports, RS3, Strategic Hospitality, they've done an amazing job, and no pun intended, but they knocked it out of the park with some of the storefront concepts they've done. Under my office, they've got a storefront concession called Shea Mac. And so think Chipotle, but think about mac and cheese on the bottom of the bowl and throwing barbecue pork, throwing just different things on top of it and however you like it. I like macaroni and cheese plain, and it's pretty amazing. And I think they were cooking some up today because my office smells like hot mac and cheese. And then on the other side of the park, we've got the Raging Bowls concept, which is think a bowl of rice, white rice, and then you've got either fajita toppings, chicken and beef, or you've got some Asian flair. So those two things are pretty amazing and pretty healthy. So that's what you get to our age, man. You got to watch what you eat. So I gotta limit myself on the dollar hot dog night. So you know what I'm saying.
And that's funny that you say that, because Rod was talking about some of the
same
food,
thing, brother.
and he said, "Man." I said, I don't know if I can eat all that stuff anymore, man. My body wouldn't let me.
Taste it.
Yeah,
I taste it. That's about it.
Can't have a full meal on it out there at the ballpark.
Hey, it's like that. It's like that spring training hot sauce, and you know what I'm talking about.
All that salsa out there. We're talking to Round Rock Express President Chris Amadeus, talking about what's going on at the ballpark. You got a new staff. You got a whole new team that is coming in. There's a lot of excitement and a lot of expectation with this Texas Rangers team. They're tied 5-5 right now. Everybody on the Specs text line was already done with the Rangers when they were losing, but now it's a tie ball game, and now everybody's quiet again. Talk about what you're expecting from this team. And just like last year, Chris, you had guys going up and down. You had transactions left and right. There was a lot of movement with this AAA team. But talk about the new management and what you're expecting from this team.
Well, look, first of all, I want to just talk about our front office. And the one thing you talked about, new people, and you know the person that was with us, and he's very special to me. But we've got Jackson Ryan on our staff.
Yep.
And Jackson, my connection years ago was my son Luke and Jackson. I got a chance to coach with Reed, and they were 6 and 7 years old. And for this to come all the way full circle, and now Jackson works with our baseball operations staff and travel and kind of an ambassador for Round Rock Express. So it's been fun mentoring him and kind of showing around him. He's a baseball guy, and that's really what we love. But
man, is he ever?
Jackson's my guy with the Rangers. I mean, matter of fact, he wrote down yesterday what he thinks the starting lineup's going to be for tomorrow when we show up. But look, as you know, the offseason moves that the Rangers made, with on the pitching side with DeGrom and Haney and Eovaldi, all that stuff trickles down to us. And so Leiter is in Double-A right now in Frisco, and Kumar Rocker. Those are kids could come through. Cole Wynn's going to throw for us tomorrow. Justin Foscue. I mean, these kids can play. I mean, he was at Mississippi State, and these guys they're gamers. Sam Huff is our catcher that was up and down last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think the great thing about coming out to Dell Diamond is you can watch these kids play here today or tomorrow, and then in a week or two they might be playing with the Rangers. And look, the Rangers have made some acquisitions over the offseason, and they want to win. And look, they were down 5-0 earlier, and now it's what'd you say? It's tied 5-5. I got it on my phone, on my TV right now, and it's look, this is exciting. It's baseball, and it's what they do. We're developmental for the Rangers, so everything that we do, all the moves that we make, are getting these kids prepared, ready to play baseball at the next level, and that's what their childhood dream was.
And of course, you're with the Ryan family, as you brought up Jackson. By the way, one of the most intelligent baseball minds I have been around. And I'm not just saying that because of what you just said, but the conversations that we have all the time is on a whole nother level. And he always tells me a little bit of nuggets that I'm always checking out. And I'm like, man, he was spot on that. So it is good to have him back with you guys and being a part of the organization and seeing what's going on. But also, I mean, your entire staff, you got Rylan, you got Aubrey, you got Timmy Jack. You guys have done a great job of bringing all the people into the baseball realm and going out in the public and getting a lot of public backing as well.
Well, that's what we are. We always challenge our staff is like, you got to get involved in the community. You got to get big. It's bigger than Dell Diamond. And so, look, Tim Jackson, our general manager, is the best in the business, and I would say he's the brains behind this thing. Our assistant GM, Stu Scally, he helps me on the revenue side and getting new partners. And then Laura Fergosa, everything you see Round Rock Express starts with her in the marketing department, her group. And you mentioned Rylan and both Aubrey. They're part of that. But one of the things we challenge our staff is you got to get out in the community and get involved in things you like and bring people out to Dell Diamond. Oscar Rodriguez, our director of sales, is the best in the business. He's our best sales guy here, and he gets out there and he gets it done. He's the guy that gets up at 5 a.m. at the gym and getting his workout in, and
Yep.
he's hitting it hard. But that's what we like. Those guys are, they're the grinders, as Cappy would say. They're behind the scenes, they're working. And, what people don't know is, we were out here early this morning putting the tarp on the field to be ready for tomorrow. I think this is going to blow through, and it's going to be a beautiful day on Friday. And come 5 o'clock when we open gates, we're going to be ready to play baseball at 7:05, and looking forward to seeing everybody. I know you're going to be out and look forward to seeing you and the family.
Yep.
But, hey, grab a Bud Light and enjoy it. And look, what the game of baseball means to all of us. And you and I both were kids. And I had the opportunity this past weekend to see one of our good friends, Kurt Dressendorfer,
No doubt.
get his number retired at the University of Texas. Number 10 will never be worn. But that Saturday morning, I shot Dress a text, and I said, Dress, listen, man, one, enjoy the day and take it all in. I go, every kid that lives in Texas, you want to be a Major League Baseball player, but first you want to be a baseball player for the University of Texas. And not only did you and Kurt get recruited by University of Texas, of course he played there, and you got drafted, but he played there, and he was one of the best ever, like 45-3, and here they are, retiring his jersey, and you guys know what that means, and that's a special thing, and to have, he's one of my best friends, and to have that person that's close to me and kind of live through him and what he's done and the success he's had. It's an awesome feeling.
Yeah, it's a totally awesome feeling, and I was not disappointed. I was happy for him, but I was sad that I didn't get a chance to go because my kid had a game, and I finally got a chance to go to his games. But I was so happy for Kirk. We've had him on multiple times, and one of the best to ever do it, and I'm glad he's starting to get recognized. But you're one of the best to ever do it, my friend, and I appreciate you jumping on with us. Tell everybody where to go and what's going on one more time for tomorrow, and have them get out. You said 11,000 people you're expecting tomorrow? I may not find a parking spot.
Well, get out here early. The system, I thought we were kind of thinking 10-5, but it's just the numbers are jumping. And so, look, 7:05 tomorrow. RoundRockExpress.com is buy tickets. I would encourage people to get tickets. We're all digital now, so you can actually buy your tickets and just get them scanned at the gate and come on in. And we're going to play some baseball.
I can't wait, man. I thank you so much, and thank you for everything. I had a great time. Thanks for looking out for me when I lost my wallet. Y'all don't understand. This man had my back. He gave me a bunch of crap, but he had my back the entire time, as always.
I gave you all the cash in my wallet.
I know. I appreciate it. Hey, but don't act like I didn't Venmo it to you.
No, I was going to say, you Venmo me. You Venmo me on the spot. I made sure you Venmo me. Come on now.
Thanks, Chris, man. I can't wait to see you, and hope for a great season for you guys.
All right, see you guys.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Chris.
Appreciate it. There he is, Chris Amadeus. Awesome. He's one of the best, man. I mean, just his heart is always in the right place. He's always looking to make sure that everybody around him is having a good time and enjoying themselves. And he ain't lying. There is a lot of work behind the scenes for this crew that they put into it to make sure that when you get to the ballpark, you have a doggone good time.
Yeah. So you're going.
I will be there tomorrow night. That's right.
Yeah, all right. It's gonna be a lot of people out there.
There's gonna be a lot. Yeah, I didn't like that number, 11,000.
Is that a sellout?
Oh, for sure. I think it's an overflow because don't forget they have
got the standing
berm.
room only
They got
parts.
the berm. They got the outfield where you can just pack it in. Everybody shows up for opening night and fireworks. It's fireworks Friday and Saturday.
No question. Yeah, it's gonna be a good time out the Dell
For
Diamond.
sure.
Good time right now. at the Gilf as well.
There it is. What
How
I tell
about
you.
that? Got an update on the Rangers-Phillies matchup. We told y'all to keep hope alive.
Haters.
Don't be jumping off that bandwagon. It's the first day. It's opening day.
Let it play
Already
out.
jumping off the bandwagon.
No doubt.
Some of y'all are going to have to get back on that bandwagon because right now the Rangers are back in it. We'll give you an update on that on the other side. Also, we got off the record. There is a stat that I found that even I cannot believe it's true. I can't believe it's real. I'm going to share it with you guys. It's mind-blowing. I guarantee you that. We'll get to that on the other side right here on Ball Don't Lie. Wonderful down the horn. All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. Time for a little off the record. First, we got to get you caught up with what's happening with the Rangers and the Phillies. There's one thing about those tables, they do tend to turn. And now the Rangers, who were once down 5-0 in this matchup, are now up 9-5 in basically an inning.
Yeah.
It took one inning.
Yeah, that was a 9-run fourth.
Yeah.
Whoa.
A 9-run fourth.
Yeah. That's why I said these guys can bang, man.
That is crazy.
Don't forget, no shifts. There's no you can't do all that other stuff you were doing
That's a good
before.
point. Yeah, you're right.
You know,
Oh, they may be
guys
playing a
are
little
getting
role.
base hits when they would probably be outs. Yeah, you got to play the game, man. Got to play the game, man.
That is wild. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. See? Okay. Rangers fans, can I get some positivity now?
Yeah, come on.
In the other direction, there was a lot of
guys
Ranger
are
hatred.
terrible.
There was a lot of disdain
Yes.
and angst on the Specs text line. Can we get a little positivity? Can we get someone say, okay, there you go. Longhorn Barry he says, wow, 9-5 in the fifth inning. Loving the no shift rule. Bring back the single.
There it is.
Chipper Jones, who
He said it
Harge brought on
yesterday.
yesterday for his Harsh Knock Life. Shout out bringing a Hall of Famer on, open up the contact list.
Got to make
He
it
said
happen.
That was one of the things that he said. He said it's almost a retro move where it takes the game back to its former state, if you will.
Yep.
In terms of the duration of the game, because you got to go back like to the 80s when you had games that were going to be around 2.5 hours.
Yes.
So we're going to be in here, and you got to go back, to the 80s where you're going to have, at least based on these new rules, where you're going to have the single essentially
Exactly.
being something now that's prioritized again. He talked about that.
Base hits and the batting averages are going to go back up.
Yeah.
You're going to see higher batting average because remember, we had this conversation last year. It was the lowest batting averages that we've seen in, I believe, the history of baseball.
Yeah, you were like, hard. You could have lasted a couple of
I
more years.
would have still been playing, man. I would have got some of this money.
You'd have been around a little bit longer, man.
That's right.
Exactly. That Mendoza line.
Yeah, that
right?
was, man, we could visit the Mendoza line and still make money.
That used to be the bad thing back in the day.
No doubt.
Okay, so there's a random stat that I saw just doing some random research. I got it from the Corn Ferry website. Don't ask me what the hell I'm doing on the Corn Ferry website, okay? Don't ask me. I go rabbit holing and it just comes up crazy stuff. So there are only 6% of Fortune 500 CEOs are women. That's obviously unfortunate. I'm sure that number is climbing. It should be.
Mm-hmm.
Over 50% of them played college sports.
I like it.
54% of them played college sports.
Most businesses like athletes.
That is a
Mm-hmm.
mind-blowing stat to me. Maybe I'm the only one whose mind was blown by it, but that's crazy. And that's just according to Corn Ferry and Fortune, by the way, Fortune magazine. They're the ones who threw that out there, too. How about this? This is crazy, too. In all Fortune estimates, and maybe it's not crazy. In all Fortune estimates that 95% of Fortune 500 CEOs all played sports.
Right.
95% of them played sports? Not at the college level.
But they played some sort of team activity,
some sports.
where you've been around a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I like that.
You want your kids to play some sports.
Absolutely.
They can play something. They ain't got to be
Something.
good at it all the time.
Right.
They can play some sport.
But you can't take away the fact of what you see as a teammate, right? You've been in the big time locker rooms. I've been in big time locker rooms. But the things that you remember are the conversations that you and your teammates have and going out there every single day to compete. That's it. So when you go into life, competition will always be a part of it, no matter what it is.
It's true. I like that mindset.
That's what it is.
Yeah, I always keep that competitive mindset. No, just got a random factoid that I thought was pretty interesting. Okay, so we'll get into some Steve Sarkisian audio. We'll get to some of the spring audio from the media availability. And also whenever the Astros get their game started versus the White Sox, we'll give you some updates on that too. I see with the Go Stros. We appreciate that, representing the Stros as well. But yeah, phenomenal start to the Major League Baseball season. Has there been a game? I've been keeping up with all the games. Now I got to go check all the games so far
and stuff,
to see if there's been a game that has had such as dramatic a shift as the Rangers and the Phillies?
Not from any game that I've seen
There ain't no
already
way.
today, because if you go back and you look at the scores, one of the games, the Braves beat the Nationals 7-2. The Yankees beat the Giants 5-0. The Orioles came back and beat the Red Sox 10-9.
I bet that was a good one.
But
That
that
was
one, Baltimore actually led that pretty much the whole way. Boston almost came back and beat them.
Yeah,
Okay, I
because it
thought
was
that
four-
that one was
yep.
good. Then that's the kind of game that I wonder what the duration of that game was. Because that's the game that they want.
That's what
That's the purpose of the rule change. They want that game. Was it 10-9? You
10-9
said? And I bet it
baseball
was like
game.
a 2-hour and 40-minute game.
I'm trying to find the exact time
I
of the
bet
game.
That's essentially what they want. They want kind of what we're watching right now.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a high scoring game here, pretty much 9-5.
3 hours and 10 minutes.
Oh, that's a little longer than I thought.
But that's still
That's for 19 runs.
That's 19
yeah, no, exactly.
runs, so that's
You wouldn't-
perfect, actually.
You wouldn't notice it.
Yeah.
19 runs,
No,
you ain't
'cause
gonna
you're
notice
like,
it.
oh, wow,
Yeah,
Yeah,
a
yeah,
19-run game was probably used to be around 4
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah. Someone said, spoiler alert, man.
Oh, sorry. Forgot that you're probably recording the game.
Yes,
Sorry about that.
We
Sorry.
apologize. Okay, next time we will give spoiler alerts.
We will.
It's opening day, so
We
we
will.
got to get
Yeah,
used to
come
this
on,
too.
guys.
Usually we would give spoilers.
You're supposed to be off work today. It is opening day. They give you the list to sign the
It's
paperwork.
opening day. Part of that is opening day, like Super Bowl Monday, and
Exactly.
during tournament time,
100%.
where you stick it to the man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is one of those that you were talking about last week in your
Hey.
Rod's rant.
Hey, $50 billion a
Yes.
year
Yes.
in wage theft. Your boss steals from you, the consumer, the American worker.
Yes.
Don't feel any shame at all.
You should be
From
off today
take it back
anyway.
a couple of hours. Yeah,
That's
you're good
right.
on that. Don't feel no shame on that. Opening day. I think really the American public does it during sports holidays. They kind
Exactly.
of make up their own sports holidays, and we make them unofficial holidays. So opening day definitely falls into that category for sure. All right, so we'll come back. We'll talk some more opening day. We'll also give spoiler alert. We'll give you,
Yeah,
we'll give you a little
exactly.
warning, spoiler alert warning, before we start getting into all the scores and everything. But great day so far for Major League Baseball in opening day. So we'll come back to that. Also, we'll come back and talk some Texas football. We got audio from Steve Sarkisian, the head coach. We'll get into that. Raj rant of the day. There is a Texas football feel to it as well. Also get into the Texans a little bit. It is a multifaceted Raj rant of the day. So we'll get into that too coming up in the 5 o'clock. All that and more right here on Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn.
Hey, fellas, we know that it's opening day and there's a lot going on. So your mind is racing. You're all over the place. But one thing you always want to make sure is just like opening day is when you take Blue Chew. Everybody wants to talk about, well, I don't need that. I'm a young man. I got all the energy you want. It's never about that, fellas. It's about performance enhancement. You want to make sure that you take performance enhancements when you go to the gym, you're trying to grow your hair, you're doing all this extra stuff. Just take a little bit extra with you. It's pretty easy to get with Blue Chew. Blue Chew is a performance enhancement for the bedroom where you can gain that extra confidence when it's time to perform. All you have to do is sign up online. You get no doctor visits, no awkward conversation. There's no waiting in line at the pharmacy where people hear all your business. They ship it straight to your door in a discreet package. Sign up at BlueChew.com. You get to consult with one of their online medical professionals, and once you are approved, you receive it in a few days. I'm telling you, it is a great thing for you. It's a performance enhancer. You don't like swallowing pills? No problem. It's a chewable form, and it's made right here in the USA and shipped direct to you. And it's cheaper than a pharmacy. Here's the favor that you need. You can go to BlueChew.com, use the promo code Hardball at checkout, and they will pay $5 for the shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code Hardball, all one word, and you'll receive your first month free. It's opening day in the major leagues. Be a superstar at home. Make your debut with BlueChew.com.
Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. New theme, Thursday edition of Ball Don't Lie. And the theme, of course, is about the unofficial holiday that America is celebrating right now. Opening day for Major League Baseball. And if you're a Rangers fan, you're probably really excited right now. They have a 9-6 lead, bottom of the fifth inning on the Phillies. Yeah, if you were, just kind of looking in a little bit early, just kind of peeking into that game and saw it, and you probably saw the Rangers were down 5-0 at one point, end up coming back. I apologize. Supposed to give a spoiler alert there, too, for updates. So we'll try to do that, too, when we get to some of the other matchups and some of the other scores from Major League Baseball. Shout out to my man Patrick. Always doing a great job with the musically themed days of the week for a new theme Thursday. And, of course, it's all about songs related to baseball. You can be a part of the show. Specs Tech Signs the best way to hit us up. 512-337-3776. You also can hit us up via Twitter. Hardball Harge is at Hardball Harge in the Twitterverse. My man Patrick Davis at It's Patrick Davis in the Twitterverse. And I'm at Rod Babers in the Twitterverse. We got some Texas spring football conversation to get into. Sark had his media availability after the 8th practice for the Longhorns. So we got some cuts that we'll get into a little bit. Also coming up later on in Rod's Round the Day, I'll get into a little bit of Texas's offense, but also talking about the offensive philosophy that Sark shares with a lot of other coaches. And it may give us a little sneak peek, may foreshadow what the Texans' offense could look like, because the Texans are also part of that coaching ideology, from that philosophical tree of coaches who believe in that zone blocking running scheme from the old Shanahan clan. And Sark recently was just talking about Shanahan. As a matter of fact, we got some audio of him talking about Kyle Shanahan coming in to be the keynote speaker at the coaches clinic. So we'll get to that here coming up here in just a second. All right, first cut though, it was a good question about players who Sark believes have kind of stood out to him, all right? Players who have earned playing time just this spring, who are really, really making their case for being someone who can either rise up in the depth chart or end up stealing some reps. Here's what Sark had to say about those players who are earning time.
I think one guy that stands out to me right now is Keaton Crawford, who tremendous special teams player for us a year ago. I think he was Big 12 special teams player of the year. This guy was fantastic. He's playing really well at safety for us right now. He's communicating at a high level. He's making plays on the ball. He's playing fast. He's definitely maturing. So he's one guy that definitely stands out to me. Another guy to me that kind of stands out are two guys that are in a healthy competition. I think DJ Campbell and Cam Williams. They're both working hard on the offensive line and showing some positive things there. And then I'd say the last guy that makes sense to me that has definitely shown up, a guy who wasn't a frontline starter for us a year ago, but I think is kind of assuming that role of that guy has been Byron Murphy on the defensive line. He's been a force here early on in spring that you feel his presence, and he's tough to block. He creates a lot of negative plays and is really strong at the point of attack.
All right, that's a nice list. I like that.
Yeah.
Kind of work our way backwards here. I like the Byron Murphy thing. Well, I don't like it. I love it.
I was going to say, we love that.
I love it for a lot of reasons, but also because Byron Murphy last year was a part of that interior D line for Texas that you could argue was the deepest defensive line in the country. I know it sounds crazy in retrospect to just throw that out there in such a cavalier fashion, but it really was one of the deepest interior D lines in the country. The guys who are on campus now, T'Vondre Sweat and Byron Murphy. By the way, T'Vondre Sweat saw a stat the other day that his 5 batted balls actually led among Power 5 interior D linemen. And that guy's coming back, and NFL scouts love him because he's huge.
Yes, he is.
Sweat is just a big body, and he's athletic, but he's big, man. He's got that NFL size. But Moro Ojimo, who's been turning a ton of heads from his combine, and now he's forced people to go back to the film to watch him with his versatility. He can play inside, play outside, and Keondre Coburn. As I said, every team needs a Coburn, and Keondre Coburn was part of that interior D-line last year too. And then you threw in an Alfred Collins. Then you threw in a Vernon Broughton. I mean, that's a deep group, Harge.
Love it.
And that's why I think they were second in in all of college football last season. Look at this Pro Football Focus numbers, so don't criticize me. But Pro Football Focus had him, I believe, as second in college football in pressures last season.
Love it.
And I think I don't know how many came for the interior D line, but I would guess that a bunch of them came from that interior defensive group.
Yeah. And that's the group that we were talking about. Every time you start looking at the numbers, we would see this is the number 2 ranked group in this week. This is the number 1 ranked group in Pro Football Focus. You start looking at the grades that interior line was getting last year. That is the impressive part about it. And when you hear a name like Alfred Collins, who we've been waiting to see pop, start to get that push, and of course Byron Murphy, who I've been looking at him as a Roy Miller starter kit. I've been looking at him as that type of guy to where Roy Miller, but Roy was on a different level mentally right off the jump, right? Roy came in and he was going to make an impact right away. I think Byron Murphy is that type of guy, and I think now being in the program a little bit longer, now becoming a mature player, I think this is his year to really, really burst onto the scene.
Yeah, he brought out some youngsters on that offensive line as well.
Yep.
DJ Campbell being one of those names he brought up. Cam Williams.
Yep.
That offensive line.
It's amazing.
It's really deep. I mean, they bring back every starter from last season, but then you're going to have potentially 1 or 2 guys just added to the rotation who potentially could be upgrades. If you look at the ceiling of those offensive linemen, obviously the guys who are veterans coming back, they're the shortest, but some of these younger players coming in, they have higher ceilings than even some of the veterans, and they may force themselves, or at least force the coaches, to give them some playing time this season. And the Keaton Crawford thing was interesting.
Yeah.
And did he say Keaton Crawford he thought was the special teams player of the year in the Big 12 last season?
He was making plays.
I got to go back and watch the film.
He was always around the football.
He was.
He was always around the football.
To say that he was the best special teams player in the conference?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I'll go back and check it out then. But that's another guy that if he is actually now, compelling the coaches to give him more playing time, you're already pretty set and deep in the secondary. That would be, that'd be an added bonus.
No doubt.
That really would be, because I think your starters are pretty much set if Jalen Catalon stays healthy. But maybe that's what you need. Some insurance behind Jalen Catalon.
You see it.
Ooh,
you saw it.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you did.
Dang. Another one.
Another one.
Rangers. Oh, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Rangers put up 2 more with a 2-run home run by Brad Miller.
Yeah.
Wow.
You were saying?
Those tables
turn fast,
don't they? They do tend to turn.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. There you go.
Hey, what I tell you every day, it's baseball, man. Just let it play out, man. Just let it play out. Let's make sure that we let it play out.
So I like that Keaton Crawford was a name that also was brought up. That's really good for the defensive backfield.
Fast.
Yes. He's supposed to be a track guy. Supposed to be really fast, too. And we know Sark loves speed, one thing he covets.
Yep.
Another question was asked about the early enrollees. Sark has a lot of early enrollees, but he's expecting these guys to have an impact early with this squad. Here is Sark talking about the early enrollees and what type of impact they've had so far.
Yeah, I think they've all done well. I think this group came in as a whole with a really competitive mindset. Like I said, I think, whether it's intentional or not, a lot of them are winners. They expect to win. They want to compete. They want to do it at a high level. And all of them, to some degree, have flashed, right, in some way, shape, or form. Obviously, some guys that, to my opinion, have been a little bit more consistent. I think Cedric Baxter has been very good. I think Anthony Hill's been very good. I think DeAndre Moore's been very good. Jonte's done some really nice things. Malik Muhammad's done some nice things. Leon Galafal's done some nice things. Sadir Mitchell figuring it out, but man, you feel his presence. He's such a big guy. Obviously what Arch has done, 8 practices as a quarterback in our system. It's not easy. We take the training wheels off day one, and you got to learn how to ride this bike. And so all of it is like, man, are we just are we getting better from one practice to the next? And are we correcting the issues that were an issue in practice 7? And did we get better at those things in practice 8? Because we're constantly throwing not only install at them, and not only are they I think they've all done well. And so all of it is like, man, are we getting better from one practice to the next? And are we correcting the issues that were an issue in practice 7? And did we get better at those things in practice 8? Because we're constantly throwing not only install at them, and not only are they having to go against the other side of the ball, which is install, but now we're into the special situations of the game. And so now they're trying to tie all that together and still use the right fundamentals and techniques and play with the right effort. So there's going to be some growing pains, but there's been some guys that have really showed us some things that, man, these guys are probably going to contribute this fall. To what degree, we don't know yet, but they're definitely high level players who are very competitive, who want to be good, and they're trying to earn their way on the field.
All right, there you go. So they're going to need a lot of these young guys. I mean, top of the head, I can think about, just the linebacker position opposite, right there, just the one with DeMarvion Overshown, obviously, no longer there. I think that will be a healthy competition. And right. I think one of the young players, Anthony Hill, who's a 5-star.
Love it.
Yeah, I think he'll be one of the guys that will be in consideration. I don't know if they want a freshman to start day one, that kind of thing, but he'll definitely be in that conversation. All other early enrollees, wide receiver position.
Yeah. DeAndre Moore.
Johntay Cook.
And
DeAndre Moore.
Cook. Yeah.
From what I've heard about both of those guys, they're going to be early contributors.
They're going to be a problem.
Both of them will be early contributors.
Yep.
The wide receiving core could end up being, one of the team's strengths. It should be.
Right.
You got Xavier Worthy. You have Jay Witt. Those are veteran guys. You're going to bring in A.D. Mitchell, also a veteran who's played in some high-level games at Georgia. Then you're bringing in two really dynamic young prospects in Johntay Cook and DeAndre Moore.
Right.
And we don't even talk about Casey Canes of the world. We don't even talk about
all the other players.
Brendan Thompson. We forget all about him because he's running track.
I think I saw his mom post something. I don't know if it was to him. I'm going to have to follow up, but there was something about a hamstring deal.
Oh, in track?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, he's fast enough where, he can
he's
do
going to have
both.
them. Yeah.
I do wish that during the season, Sark would maybe come up with special plays that could weaponize his speed. To try to utilize his speed, but we saw that last year, actually.
Yeah, she just posted MRI negative for a strain and tear. There's fluid and inflammation. Let's get him cleared up so he can get back on that track. Thank you for all the prayers.
I believe it was Oklahoma State game, and they ran a 2-back set.
Yeah.
Ended up throwing him like a screen pass.
Quick screen.
A quick screen.
There you go with that quick game.
And don't forget about Isaiah Nayor. Thank you very much, Sexter. Yeah.
That's right.
I mean, that room, to me, if you're looking at the identity of the offense, it's got to be linked to that group.
Yep.
But then so many other variables must be functioning at a high level. The offensive line, the pass blocking, Quinn Ewers, his footwork, his delivery, his processing, all that. That's all got to be in tune. That's all got to be working together in perfect harmony for your passing game to be your strength. But when you got a starting quarterback coming back, when you got an offensive line with that kind of upside, all 5 of them coming back, and you got that kind of experience with the wide receiving core, and JT Sanders, by the way, included in that too. That's your strength. Now, can you make all of those moving parts work together, all right, and function together?
Yep.
That's a different discussion because last year you could not for different reasons. X-Man's injury, young O-line, young quarterback, all that different type of stuff.
And the fact Nayor was not playing last year.
Nayor was also hurt too. Yeah, so a lot of but that's going to happen again. That's football, by the way. There are going to be certain
part of the game.
Impediments. There will be certain issues that arise that will keep you from becoming the ideal offense. That's football.
Yep.
What do I say about coaches? They're problem solvers. Go solve the problem. Go solve the problem. I think Sark's working on that problem, too, with the passing game. He said that's his top priority this offseason. Speaking of the passing game, this leads us right to our next cut here. Sark was asked about 2 players that have been a big topic of discussion among Longhorn fans in the offseason. Quinn Ewers, of course, but also Alfred Collins. There's a belief. Remember, Alfred Collins came in, 5-star player. A lot of people thought Alfred Collins was going to be a war daddy for Texas on that defensive line. Hasn't happened yet. All right, and I use that word yet. I'm throwing it out there because I do think it's in him. But if you see him coming off the bus, there's a lot of people that think he's got all the measurables. He's got all the raw material to be that war daddy. This could be the year that the light goes off for him. For Quinn Ewers, we already know. Golden Arm, one of the highest rated recruits in the history of modern recruiting. Those are the two players Sark was asked about. Here's what he had to say.
Yeah, I think couple of things from Quinn. I think Quinn had a really good winter conditioning kind of off season. I think he got himself in really good shape. He definitely feels more comfortable. You can almost a sense of, he's throwing the ball very naturally, very comfortably. I think from a decision-making standpoint, the reads are just happening that much quicker, that much more decisive. I think the management of our style of offense, right? The shifts, the motions, the tempos, the varying tempos, all those things of handling that aspect of the game, I think you're seeing growth. I think it just looks like a guy who's in year 2 and is growing into year 2 from a comfort level. Not perfect, and I don't expect him to be perfect right now. I mean, we challenge him every day, and the defense is challenging the offense every day, and we're putting new things in. There's some things we're looking at that maybe we haven't decided are we going to put and have as a part of our offense. And so that can be challenging on a quarterback because there's some newness to what we're doing. But at the end of the day, I just think his comfort level, but also I think his intent, right? I mean, he was very intentional this offseason of getting himself in a really good space physically and mentally. And I think it's showing throughout the first 8 practices. I think Alfred has taken another step, right? We talked a lot about Alfred a year ago about, it wasn't about the talent. It was about the consistency in the play and his style of play. And when Alfred plays that way, which he's doing right now, where he's consistent at the point of attack, he can use his length. He has great athleticism. He can close on the ball. When he plays really violent, like he's doing right now, he's a real problem. And I think that we've seen that here the first half of spring from him.
We're waiting.
We've been waiting.
We've been waiting, like waiting for Godot. We're waiting. We're waiting on Afrikaans, man, because I can't help but get excited every time I think about it. But I fear that we get this little buzz about Alfred Collins every offseason now. And I'm hoping that that's not the case. Hoping that this year because Bo Davis did a fantastic job with that defensive line last season. I mean, that group was unbelievable.
They were intense.
They really were
strong. They were moving. They were getting that push.
They reset the line of
scrimmage.
scrimmage.
They were missing for a very long time because before, and I'll never forget, Kenny Sims, when we had him on with us, he was talking about, we got a bunch of dancing bears because everybody just standing there. They wasn't putting their head down. They should have no necks because they should be leaning on them guys. I'm like, yeah, you right, big fella. You right.
Yeah. Know what he said about sometimes you got to want to smash some face?
Yeah, you want to smash some face.
Sometimes you just got to want to smash some face. And I was like, that is so brilliant and eloquent and articulate. I never heard it put that way. You're damn right. I want my defensive lineman to want to smash some face.
There you go.
That's why he was great, by the way.
That's why he was great.
Smashing
That's why he was
face.
number 1 overall.
Exactly. Smashing plenty of face out
That's
there.
right.
So, yeah, the Alfred Collins, the defensive line, listen, he should be getting – I don't think he's demanding a double team either. I mean, he's going to get one-on-one blocking, especially if they put him on the defensive line with other guys who are already guys like Tavondre Sweat on that defensive line, or Byron Murphy. If you're asking me as an offensive mind to delegate responsibility about which one of those guys is the most urgent threat on that D-line, honestly, right now, it's probably an insult to him. I wouldn't pick Alfred Collins.
Right.
I'd probably say, we got to block Sweat. We got to block Byron Murphy.
Yeah.
So I would say he'd probably get one-on-one blocking.
Byron Sorrell.
Baron Sorrell. Exactly.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'd pick one of those guys. So to me, Alfred Collins, his goal should be, I want to demand a double team by the end of the year.
Right.
I would like single blocking that to be considered an insult to me by the end of the year.
No doubt.
And it should be.
That should be the goal.
Because he's a grown man out there. At least he looks like it.
And he got good feet. He was a hooper. He could move around.
You're right. And then his
mom was a she was a hooper too.
Mom can hoop.
Yeah.
You're right about that. Got them sweet feet. He's got
them
everything.
feet.
There's no measurable or physical raw material that he lacks. It's
first
all
off the bus.
Yes, for him,
Yeah.
it's all about his development, and it's all about him being disciplined enough in his technique and his fundamentals, and then him having that war daddy mentality. I won't be blocked
bring
one-on-one. Y'all going to have to
Bring
block
it.
me with 2 or 3 guys. Otherwise, I'm going to blow this whole damn play up. And right now, I don't know. I hope he's got that. I don't know if he has it right now. With Bo Davis, if anybody who can infuse that mentality into you, it'll be Bo Davis.
He can bring it out.
One last cut here before we get to Raj around the day. My man Chip Brown, who's always working hard, I believe he asked Sark about the last scrimmage they had and what players stood out in the last scrimmage they had. Here is Sark, who after a while, it actually took him a little while to come up with this. We cut all that out, but it actually took him a little while to come up with the answer because he said a lot has happened since then. Going to support the Texas basketball team in the Elite Eight, had a junior day since then, all the practices. But here's Sark hearkening back to their last scrimmage and talking about these standout performers.
I think all in all, last Saturday went well. I think, first of all, we came out of it healthy, which is always a positive in spring. We want to tackle. We want to be physical. But, you're always mindful of injuries and what that could look like. I think that was the first part that stood out to me. I think inevitably, I thought there was some real flashes in the pass game. I thought that there were some things that we've been working on in the passing game that was really effective for us. I think Terrence Brooks was a guy that kind of stood out that did some things last Saturday that showed up. Thinking through here of other things. I thought JT Sanders was good last Saturday and showed some things. But like I told the team, I felt like we could have been better last Saturday, and that's my job, right? To say, hey, as we continue to grow and go, I'm always got to push you, and I got to keep pushing these guys to new heights and new heights and new heights. And when I told them when they came off the field, I said, hey, we were good today, but we could have been better, right? You guys have set a standard here that is very high, and they've worked to create that standard. And now our job is to meet that standard and then exceed it to create a new standard. And that was something I thought last Saturday where we could have went to another level and maybe we missed the mark just a hair. But it gives us another opportunity, this Saturday to see how far we can take it.
All right, so we got another scrimmage coming up this Saturday with the Texas football team. But yeah, I like that he brought up Terrence Brooks. That's a name that I want to hear. The field corner taking over. Remember, he took over last season late, but I expect him to win that job coming out of the spring as the field corner opposite Ryan Watts, who's going to play the boundary corner on the short side. He'll be playing on the wide side of the field. But after getting to know his dad a little bit, Chet Brooks, former Aggie, who's also a DB coach and a footwork coach, and watching some more film on Terrence Brooks, I've been doing some deep diving on him. I'm a big fan. I think the guy could probably play nickel or play safety too. I think he could play any position potentially in that secondary. He's going to be the guy, in my opinion, that's going to win the job. But I do believe right now it's still kind of an open competition at that specific job. He hasn't won that job. I believe he will. I think he's got I think he's got exactly what they want in a skill set for a wide field corner, because they want to be able to play bump and run man-to-man on the field side, which is something Deshaun Jameson really couldn't do. Not confidently, or at least they didn't have confidence in him to be able to execute that. Terrence Brooks will be. All right, we come back. Okay, so we know that my man Kyle Shanahan spoke as the keynote speaker for the Texas Football Coaching Clinic. Sark was asked about that, so we'll play that audio. But also, we know that Sark, and even talks about it in audio, Sark's been a huge fan of the Shanahan offensive philosophy for a while, not just Kyle's, but we're talking about going West Coast guys. He's a West Coast guy going back to Mike Shanahan's offense. So there are a couple of different items I'm going to hit here. We'll get into how Sark's philosophy offensively, how it aligns with Shano's, and how it could foreshadow what the offensive identity could be for Texas this year, but also Bobby Slowick, the Texans' new offensive coordinator, first-time play caller. He's also from that Shanahan coaching tree, and they're going to be conceptually, there are going to be some things that also align with my man Sark. So we'll get into that too and talk about how the football world, it's not as big as you think it is. All that and more right here on Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. If time is money, my friends at Apple Leasing are going to save you both. That's their business. As a matter of fact, they have the ability to put you in any make or model vehicle that you want. The professionals over at Apple Leasing can help you get the price you want, the payment you want on the car that you want. And all it takes is one phone call or one click on Apple Leasing's website, and you'll get a quote on any make or model vehicle that you want. They can even give you an estimate on the value of your trade-in right over the phone. Apple Leasing's simple interest, easy lease allows you to have a lot more flexibility, which is going to give you more possibilities and options to help you find the vehicle that fits you best, but more importantly, the vehicle that fits your budget best. Inflation is through the roof. We all know it. We all feel it. It's never been more expensive to buy a new car, buy a used car, buy anything for that matter. So leasing actually makes more sense than ever. You're only paying for the part of the car you're actually using. So call Apple Leasing today at 512-346-9977. That's 512-346-9977, and let them see how much money they can save you. They get all the same discounts and all the same incentives that the dealers do, except my friends at Apple Leasing pass those savings on to you, the customer. So give them a call, 512-346-9977, or visit them online at appleleasing.com. That's appleleasing.com. All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. So there's a lot of discussion in Houston about how the Texans' offense is going to look. Now, first of all, you don't even know who the quarterback is going to be. So that's probably the biggest variable, biggest uncertainty in trying to project how the offense is going to look. But Bobby Slowick, the new offensive coordinator, has never called plays before. It's first time calling plays. Remember, he was the offensive coordinator for the 49ers, so he spent a lot of time with my man Shano. So apparently hopefully the Shanahan clan mojo has rubbed off on him, and he'll get some of that. And I found this little stat just trying to do some research to try to figure out what this Bobby Slowick offense is going to look like. And one thing that I found was if you look at yards per route run, which is probably now analytically, it is considered to be the most accurate stat trying to rank receivers or predict wide receiver productivity. And, if you start looking at yards per route run, the guys who led the NFL in yards per route run this year, I mean, you basically have the cream of the crop. I mean, it's Tyreek Hill, I believe, is at the top of that list. Then it's Justin Jefferson, A.J. Brown, Jalen Waddle, Stephon Diggs, Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp's in the top 10, along with Amon-Ra St. Brown this year. Chris Olave made CeeDee Lamb's in there. Right now, among the analytical minds out there, it's their go-to stat for wide receiver productivity. So I started taking the yards per route run stat, and I found this little nugget. So since 2018, there have been 8 quarterback to pass catcher connections to average over 3 yards per route run. Just to give you a little perspective on this, Tyreek Hill led the NFL this year with 3.2 yards per route run. Justin Jefferson was second at 2.6. All right? Give you a little gauge there about how everything is, kind of being broken down here. So this is, since 2018, quarterback to receiver, not necessarily wide receiver, pass catcher combinations or connections to average over 3 yards per route run in a season since 2018. There are 8 of them, and all 8 of them have an association with the Shanahan coaching tree. In 2022, it was Tua to Tyreek Hill when Tua was healthy, and Tua to Jalen Waddle when he was healthy. In 2021, it was Matt Stafford to Cooper Kupp. It was also in 2021 Jimmy G to Debo, and Jimmy G to Kittle. Aaron Rodgers to Devontae Adams. Then in 2019, it was Jimmy G to Kittle. And in 2018, you have Mullins. Yeah, that's right. Nick Mullins to Kittle. And then in 2018, you also have Matt Ryan to Julio Jones throws in there in 2018. And by the way, the Matt Ryan to Julio Jones thing, strangely enough, that's Sark.
Yeah. I think that was the Super Bowl year. No, Shano was the Super Bowl year.
Shano was 16. Yeah. And Sark coaches for 2 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's 2 years. And that's a Sark offense, 17 and 18. Those are his NFL years before he decides to go back to Bama, and then he's the man. So of these, different pass catcher or quarterback pass catcher combinations, all right, 3 of them are Shano, 2 of them Mike McDaniel. That's really impressive in the same damn year. Matt LaFleur's got 1, Sean McVay's got 1, and Sark has 1. That to me, and by the way, like I said, 7 of the 8 are clearly from the Shanahan coaching tree.
Right.
Hell, matter of fact, 3 of these 5 were actually on the Texans coaching staff at the same time. Hate to bring that up.
Yeah,
we're talking about the Texans, so I had to bring it up.
You had to bring them in,
right? I mean, that's
yeah. Bring it up a little bit.
It was Kyle Shanahan is in that group. Mike McDaniel, also a part of that group, and Matt LaFleur, all on the Texans coaching staff at one time. But anyway, I digress. So yards per route
You
run.
are really digging that knife into him. Dog.
So we see obviously the Shanahan scheme can lead to, obviously very high productivity for some of these pass catcher connections and combinations.
Mm-hmm.
And the only one that's not a part of the Shanahan coaching tree, directly would be Sark. But Sark, we know after Shanahan leaves, and Sark admits this, by the way, and we'll play the sound of Sark talking about Shano. After Shano leaves to go to San Fran, Sark uses a lot of these Shanahan concepts to help stabilize the offense and transition it to his offense. He even used 2 tailback sets. Instead of using the 2 back sets with a traditional fullback like Shano does with Juszczyk, he used 2 tailback sets at the time. I believe it was Devontae, was it Freeman? And I forget.
I forget.
You know what I'm talking about? It was Freeman and
I forget that.
I forget the guy's name.
Yeah,
Anyway, they're unimportant. It doesn't matter. My point is, he was borrowing, stealing, whatever, a lot of the Shanahan concepts because it made sense trying to transition that Atlanta offense from the Shanahan scheme to the Sark scheme. And trust me, I think he took a lot of that and kept it, and almost kept it within the blueprint of his offense. He has now baked it in to the Sark cake, if you will. So here is, and I'll get back to this too, because I think this will lead us to a discussion about the Texans, how the offense is going to look there. But I want to start with the 40 acres first. Here is Sark.
Tevin Coleman.
Tevin Coleman.
Yeah,
thank
I wasn't going to let that
much.
go. I wasn't going to let that go.
Thank you. You are the man.
Coleman.
Love your persistence, brother. I love it. Thank you very much. He was asked about having Kyle Shanahan in town and asked about essentially, swapping some ideas, talking to X's and O's with the man. Here's what Sark had to say about his relationship with Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, I think Kyle and I, we've known each other for a long time, probably over 20 years. And I think there's mutual respect for, what we do offensively. I think systematically we're very similar. Obviously the NFL game and the college game is a little bit different. So I always have studied Kyle. I've been studying him for, like I said, for 20 years. And he's, in my opinion, is one of the best in our industry at what he does and developing game plans and schematically and how he goes about it. I think he does a great job utilizing the personnel that he has. And Debo's a prime example of that, of, the versatility he provides and then how he utilizes him in ways to get him the ball. And we have Savion Red. We have some other guys kind of similar in those traits too. And so whether it's scheme, whether it's personnel driven, we study him a lot, and we're always trying to find ways to get better. So it was great to have him in town, and we got a chance to visit, quite a bit.
Oh, please say it, Sark. Say positionless football. Just say it.
He can't do it.
He won't say it.
Do it.
Just say it. Say positionless football. Please just say it. Just say it. Just say it. But he won't say it. But he said it all the time. Not only Savion Red, we got other guys. I think he's talking about Jay Witt. But please, just say positionless football. I would love it. But that's what Shano majors in, positionless football. And no offense in the NFL has embraced positionless football quite like Shano's offense. He's been building for like 6 years now. And nobody's going to be able to replicate that. You can't find a Juszczyk. You can't find a Debo Samuel. You can't find a Christian McCaffrey. They don't make athletes like that. Shout out to the Cowboys, though. I do think the Cowboys have the best positionless football defense in the NFL, but I digress. Getting back to the conversation here. So what concepts, right? What different ideas, ideologically, philosophically, bind these offenses, all these different types of offenses, especially the different ones in the Shanahan clan? What are the commonalities? Well, what I think for Sark, what makes it interesting, and I think this is one of the kind of West Coast ideas, not necessarily a Sark and a Shanahan idea. It's just more of a West Coast idea, and the late, great Bill Walsh is famous for it. They call it stacking. Mm-hmm. All right, so stacking is essentially you take your best plays, your best run plays, and then you just build and stack different concepts, cheat codes, force multipliers on that. You got to master a run play, though. You got to master one or two run plays, running concepts, and then force the defense to become obsessed with stopping that run play or those two run plays. For Shano, it's the outside zone. Stop the outside zone, you better stop it. But while trying to stop it and being obsessed with building and constructing your game plan to stop it and neutralize it, that compulsion will leave you vulnerable elsewhere. It's going to leave you exposed in other parts of your defense, and oftentimes in predictable ways. predictable ways for great offensive minds like Steve Sarkisian and like my man Shano to go, I know exactly defensively how they're going to try to defend this run concept based on how their defense is constructed. And now I can reverse engineer their defense and find out exactly where the vulnerabilities will be.
Yeah.
All right, reverse engineer the whole damn thing and essentially stack. So basically, what the late great Bill Walsh would say is that basically off every play, off every good run play you have, whether it's a outside zone or whether it's an inside zone, it's a counter, it's a power pin, whatever it is, you should have a screen off of that, you should have a bootleg off of it, a waggle off of it, a naked off of it, and you should have a deep shot off of it, and then you can have. And just kind of at the new age, modernized Shano version of it is off of all of those different concepts from the run play, the screen, the boot, the waggle, the naked, and the shot. You also have counters to that.
Yeah.
All right. I'll have a counter to the boot action or to the waggle, or I'll fake the waggle, turn it into an RPO. All these different things. Trust me, it's way more advanced than I want to get into on the radio. And I think for Sark this year, that's going to be the challenge. Stacking. Last year, stacking was easy. He had Bijan Robinson and Rojo. Bijan ran out. Bijan was a beast. He was a demon running the zone. Run any zone schemes, mostly your outside zone. Man, when he ran the outside zone, it was perfection. It was like listening to Coltrane. It really was. You're talking about high-level elite football execution when they ran the outside zone. Texas might have been one of the best teams in the country at running the outside zone because of how great Bijan was. And Rojo, more of a power back, so Rojo can run your power gap schemes, your counters, and you could stack off of that. You could stack off of it knowing teams had to overemphasize stopping certain run concepts against Texas, because if not, then you're gonna die the death of 1,000 cuts.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. And teams would overemphasize trying to stop the run game, and then you can stack your concepts on top of that. This year, without Bijan, without Rojo, I wonder what favorable run scheme they're going to be stacking their concepts off of. Because the play caller, you learn, oh, man, we're good at this. When we run this, you got the numbers. We average 6 yards a pop here. Or when we run this concept, we average 7 yards a pop here. They know that kind of stuff. They do. You guys know, I give you the numbers. Yeah. I got those numbers. They got a room of coaches and a room of quality control people that are, breaking down all those numbers. And throughout the season, you start to, slim down the playbook a little bit, and you start to focus on what your identity is. And your identity is things you do as well, if not better than everybody else. What do you hang your hat on? Those are your hang your hat plays. Mm-hmm. And then you stack off the hang your hat plays. What are Texas hang your hat run plays this season? That's being determined right now in the spring. Because then that is what will have the play action, the boots, the waggles, the nakeds, the RPO concepts, all will come off of that. And by the way, Sark loves the RPO. He calls his offense an RPO-based passing game.
Yeah.
And, he's been big about that, for a long time. Since the RPO became popular, you still build that off of your most popular run concepts. That's still stacking.
Yep.
So getting to Sark, that's important. And for Bobby Slowick, same thing with the Texans. Right? Texans have Dameon Pierce. He's from the Shanahan coaching tree, similarly. So they're going to be doing some stacking as well. And I wonder what their favorable run concepts are going to be, and then how you build the passing game around that, or you build it off of that. But that concept alone is why Sark's in that same category of coaches since 2018 who have had a quarterback to receiver connection to average over 3 yards per route run in a season. Like I said, Shano's got 3 of them. Mike McDaniel's got 2. Matt LaFleur's got 1. Sean McVay's got 1. And Sark's got 1. It's only 8 of those since 2018. And I went and looked at yards per route run for Power 5 wide receivers since 2017. Guess who's first? Devonta Smith, 4.39 yards per route run.
That's a short list then, right?
It's Jackson Smith and Jigba is after Devontae Smith at 4.01. CeeDee Lamb is next, 3.99. Then Elijah Moore, 3.85. T. Higgins at 3.67. My point being with Sark, though, it goes back to Sark and his shots that he wants to take downfield too.
Yeah.
That's a big part of it, why he doesn't want to give up on those shots, because it's such a big part of his offensive ideology as a coach. But I think I think it's more than coincidence that, you look at that stat since 2018, the 8 quarterback receiver combinations to average over 3 yards per route run, and Sark's in there with all of the Shanahan clan, and he talks about how much he admires them, how much he steals and borrows from all those guys. And he's talked about, and honestly, out of all of these guys, his offense will never look like Shannon's, because Shannon's offense will never look like anybody's. It's just too unique. And his offense is not like Mike McDaniel's either, because Mike McDaniel, he likes speed like Sark does, but he has a different offense, in my opinion, than Sark. But they do both love their deep shots downfield and their speedy wide receivers. If you look at conceptually, the offense in the Shanahan tree that is most like Sark's is probably Matt LaFleur's. Matt LaFleur's offense, philosophically, conceptually, ideologically, it's more like Sark's than any other offense. They have a lot more commonalities. They love bunch formations. They love motions and shifts. They love targets to motion, a ton of that too. They also love the two-back sets. LaFleur is big on two-back sets with A.J. Dillon, and was it Aaron Jones?
Yes.
Jones?
The two-back set for the
Green Bay
Packers.
Packers.
Yep.
He loves using two-back sets too, and Sark was really good two-back sets. They also like 12 personnel with tight ends. Sark's big on 12 personnel about 40% of the time. He's using 2 tight ends. You probably see a lot more of that this season. So, and they use a lot of motion to manipulate, disrupt, and to discombobulate. They do a lot of that, and Sark loves that too. So conceptually, it's probably closer to the Matt LaFleur offense, but you can tell that Sark is a big fan of that whole entire zone blocking scheme from the Shanahan clan. And I think he's borrowed a lot of those concepts, and you can tell it's added a lot to his passing game. Just want to throw that out there about how he's going to build the passing game this year will probably be based on how successful they are at certain run concepts. All right, we come back. We got Ravens looking at Baker Mayfield. That's a real story, apparently, that Baker Mayfield apparently shot down during this offseason. We'll talk about that, and also the NFL working to improve Thursday Night Football. All that and more right here on Ball to Line on 104.9 The Horn. Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. New theme Thursday. My man Patrick plays jams that are supposed to give us clues and hints as to what the new theme of the day is. Harge got it on the first go-around this time. He just said it's got to be for Major League Baseball's opening day, and he was right about that
Gotta
one.
be.
So we're celebrating Major League Baseball's opening day. We'll give you some updates, spoiler alerts, coming up a little bit later on. Real quick, because we don't have a lot of time. So the NFL owners opted not to vote on a rule that would allow games to be flexed into a Thursday night kickoff. They agreed Tuesday to modify the existing rule to allow teams to play a maximum of 2 short week games. That means that while some teams could play 2 Thursday night games, others would not have any back-to-back Thursday night games, such as Thanksgiving game followed by a Thursday night game the next week would only count as 1 short week game. So some teams could wind up playing potentially 3 Thursday night games if the NFL gets their way.
Man.
A lot of players, including Patrick Mahomes, showed their disdain. He did it with a palm face emoji. I guess that's the official way to say it. But he was not happy with it. A lot of other players, too, upset with this. The NFL is claiming, hey, that they still care about players' safety. Roger Goodell said, I don't think we are putting Amazon over players' interests. We look at data with respect to injuries and impact on players. I think we have data that's very clear. It doesn't show higher injury rate. I hear from a lot of players directly, too. They have 10 days off afterwards, so there's some benefits on that side as well. Oh, by the way, this is going to happen because I believe the vote for flexing, 22 owners voted in favor of Thursday night flexing, 8 opposed, and 2 abstained. So, it needs a 75% vote approval, and they're going to get that at the next owners meeting. That's going to happen.
Sure, because it's all about the money, man.
Yeah, they're going to have flex scheduling for Thursday night football. So just get your mind right. Get ready for it. Straight
and
cash
for
on.
us, and for you and I,
It's
we're like,
great.
oh, yeah, this is going to be great.
Now, the question is, what are they going to – they're not going to flex the good game. Are they get the 4th best game? Because Sunday night gets a better game. Monday night gets a better game. And then you figure Fox and, like, the game of the week, so maybe 5th best game?
Something like that, yeah.
I'm just saying, like, because all those other people are still better than Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, I think they probably get priority over Thursday night football.
So you get Thursday
but
night.
they do want Jeff Bezos as part of their billionaires club, so they might hook him up a couple of times.
Yeah, they're going to look
right?
out
They
there.
They
That's
really
right.
want him to take
That's
over
right.
that Washington team, and they're like, Jeff, would you spend some more money with us, please?
Yeah.
All right, they call him Jeff because they're really close.
Because
they're all billionaires.
All billionaires can call each other that.
Even Goodell's almost a billionaire. He'll
Hey,
be working with
Bezos, home.
Hey,
Hallelujah.
JB.
Yay.
JB, what's
Bring
going
me
on,
some
baby?
of them pesos, Bezos.
All right, we come back. We'll talk about Major League Baseball's opening day. We'll give you an update on the Rangers, update on the Astros, and we'll talk about NIL rankings. Longhorn getting some love right here on Ball Don't Lie, 104.9 The Horn. Okay. All right. You know what? At first I didn't like it. Now that at first I kind of there's a sentimental connection I feel to it as an Astros fan.
There's a long list of terrible songs for baseball teams. Like I know CB putting out today of Scott Stapp's for Miami. That is top of the list. Bad songs.
Wow.
Like Eddie Vedder's probably the best with the Cubs. He's got some Cubs ones that are okay, but there's a lot of there's a like 5 or 6 Houston Astros songs. Basically, like most rappers have an Astros song they did, and it's just like when they went and it's, but they're all questionable.
Is this the best of the group?
Depending on what you, I mean,
Does Slim Thug have one?
Oh,
I don't know if
Slim
he.
Thug
I
got
know I
one.
saw Chameleonaire had one. I know
Bun B probably has
Bun
one.
B
has
had
one.
one. Yeah, there's a bunch of them.
Wow, I've never heard this before, and the chorus is just atrocious. It's just,
Not
it
a
is
Sam
horrid.
Knight fan.
It really, the chorus is bad, but I don't mind the lyrics of the song. The lyrics of the song are pretty good. All right,
I love it.
I can't stand the chorus. Even though I'm an Astros fan, I couldn't listen to that very long.
How about them straw?
I know. You know what they should do? Screw and chop it. There you go.
There it is.
Screw it up and chop it for me, and you know what? Then it would fit the Houston theme even more so. All right, a lot of H-Town discussion. Houston just started off their game versus the White Sox. We all watched Megan Thee Stallion throw out the first pitch.
Hey now.
That was like must-watch television.
Yeah, it was
think
probably
we're-
the best walk to the mound that any manager that I've ever
I
seen
agree with
do
you on
it.
that.
He was
That
nobody
was
can top that.
It
Yes.
was.
Do you know
good
how
walk to the
there's
mound.
people that like can always find a camera no matter what with their face, and they're
Wow.
always looking at the camera. They always find it. She has that ability from the backside.
Yeah. Oh no.
She knew right where that camera was.
I don't
Yeah.
know if the camera. I think the camera finds her backside. I don't know if her
Yeah.
backside is looking for. The,
I mean,
that-
I know that dude was awkward. He was like, "Man, is she gonna turn around and throw the ball to home plate?"
No, she really started. She did, so to Patrick's point, she did start with her backside facing home plate.
Oh,
and just
yeah.
kind of staring out at the crowd.
And just kept on walking.
And yeah, yeah.
That was the furthest 60 feet 6 inches I've ever seen in my life.
Megan Thee Stallion is famous for her badonkadonk.
Hello.
She is a bootylicious. I even added her to my big butts. Remember?
You did.
I had to add it. I mean, wow, you saw now why I added her. It's like
Hey man,
you can't, you can't be talking about
the champs are here.
You can't be talking about bodacious, bootylicious, badonkadonks,
Oh,
and
yeah.
not mention Megan Thee Stallion.
Oh,
So
great point.
She's in that conversation now.
Great point.
So that was fun watching her throw out the first pitch. Did they show Mark Wahlberg?
That's no, that I do not see.
Right, he's supposed to be part of
He was
this.
supposed to say play ball, right?
Okay, they didn't show that in the play
No, I
ball
don't
thing.
think they cared.
They probably
They were done.
They were like, oh, this
they were
guy,
still looking at Megan Thee Stallion. They was
Megan Thee
just-
Stallion stole the
yeah,
show.
they was
As
looking
Rodney
at the
Terry
stallion.
say, she is the show.
Yeah. What I say, man? We the show.
We the show. Well done there. All right, Astros taking on the White Sox. We'll give you right now. Oh, top of the ninth. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Mm-hmm. Spoiler alert. Just real quick. Top of the ninth right now. Rangers up 11-7 on the Phillies. All right, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that was a hell of a comeback, though. Maybe at one point they were down 5. They were down 5-0 in the fourth, actually.
Yeah.
And then a 9-run. You said it was a 9-run fourth or 9-run fifth?
9-run fourth.
9-run fourth.
Yeah.
inning? Crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good for the Rangers and good for the Rangers fans out there. So we'll tell you about the Astros. Framber Valdez on the mound. He's going up against Dylan Cease.
Yep.
Harge did inform us the Astros have tied a Major League Baseball record since they moved to the AL. They have won 10 in a row. Chicago's actually 10 opening days in a row, I should
Opening
say.
day, yeah.
10 in a row on opening day. And
Here's your Mark Wahlberg right here. They did.
they are showing it.
They
There
did
he
show
is.
it.
Oh, he's making sure that he knew that everybody knew that he had just finished working out.
What does he say? What does his hat say?
It's probably the what'd you call it? The
What I-
salsa. It's probably the salsa on the hat.
Salsa.
You're probably right. That's probably
Probably
what it
something
is.
of his.
Yeah, you said
Or maybe it's tequila.
You said it's him and Bregman that have this.
Yeah, that's why
I
he's
think-
looking
I
at
think
him.
This is-
Yeah.
Oh, he did. He just gave him a shout out, I think, too.
Yeah.
I think he just gave him a shout out here.
Make sure you go and get our salsa.
Come on, man. Come on.
Fletcher, it's a Fletcher tequila is his tequila.
Flash of tequila.
And
Everybody's
the,
got tequila these
the
days.
tequila is with the salsa.
Oh, you got to have it
That's a-
together. Like it's like your
Well,
palate.
no, I think they like mix some tequila into the salsa.
Oh, what?
I believe is how they're saying
Tequila
it.
infused salsa?
Yeah, I
Hold
believe
on,
that's
let me-
it.
Okay, that's something different. I'll stick with my hot cat. What I will say though is that, come on, Mark Wahlberg, we got this discussion earlier, guys. Out of all the Houston icons or just notable celebrities that represent H-Town, hell, even the state of Texas.
Thank you.
He ain't even from the state of Texas.
Roger Clemens is in the booth.
Come on, man.
He should have been the one down there.
Come on. I
Yeah.
mean, we could think of 30 people right now, top of our head, who would be more, in my opinion, they'd be more deserving of that honor of throwing out the first pitch. No, sorry, take that back. Not first pitch. Same play ball.
Yeah.
Same play ball. No,
Yeah.
Megan Thee Stallion deserves to throw out the first pitch again and again, by the way.
Oh, by the way, Barstool Sports said.
Encore.
Barstool Sports said that's a strike from Megan Thee Stallion in our book.
She did come up a little short.
Yeah,
she came up a little short.
Strike one.
Oh, Rangers are, sorry. Spoiler. Spoiler alert.
That's
Rangers
right.
are 1-0.
Hey, man, championship. I told y'all, stay close. They playing meaningful baseball.
Undefeated.
Well, Chipper Jones did say, and you guys said it yesterday, you think
That's
they're
right.
going to surprise some people.
They're going to surprise some
The
people.
Rangers are going to surprise some people. People are down on the Rangers right now, and obviously they were because of the angst and the vitriol that came via the Specs text line when they were down 5-0. I think we could go. I think we had like 10 texts. We were like, "I'm giving up on them." I told you, I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm done.
Same old Rangers. There they go again.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah, even Clarence Hill, you said was guilty of.
Yeah,
You had to call
Chill
him out.
was like, come on, man. He was like, oh, man, what, oh, God, what was it? It was something that we always talk about. And he's, grand opening, grand closing, same old Rangers. And it's like, nah, bro, you better hold up a minute.
Nah, not these Rangers. He spent some money, and the money necessarily didn't show up for him, but he still found a way to get the dub. With Dylan Cease on the mound for the White Sox, that should be good news for the Astros. He has not performed well versus the Astros in 4 starts. 0-3, 6.30 ERA in those 4 starts. He's 0-1 when starting in H-Town. So that should be a good sign for the Astros. And also because on opening day, they seem to, at least since they've been in AL, they seem to be on the winning side most of the time. The bullpen, we expect the Astros also still to have the best bullpen in Major League Baseball. That's what it was last year.
Yeah, they should. They
Or at
should
least
be
be in the
very
top 5.
Yeah,
right
they
there.
can definitely be in the mix.
I expect them to be last year, the bullpen for the Astros. Best bullpen ERA, 2.80. Best strikeout rate for a bullpen. Best left on base percentage for a bullpen. So if they got that behind Framber Valdez, who's proven to be a workhorse starter. I mean, he can go down to where I believe he's failed to go at least 6 innings in just 5 of his last 31 regular season starts.
Remember, he was the quality start guy.
That's right. Good point.
Yeah, major league record in quality starts.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He's going to be around for a minute.
It's a really good point about that. Yeah, it's a nice pitching matchup between 2 top 5 finalists for the AL Cy Young last season. So Astros, hopefully, Astros can pull out the dub. But it's a really long season, and they got a lot of injuries. Jose Altuve is dealing with a fractured thumb still.
He had a pink cast over there, man. He had a pink cast. They showed him.
Does he have a daughter?
That I do not know. He probably does. That might be why he got the pink cast.
Sometimes you see like athletes with a pink. Exactly. It's like, why are you wearing that pink? It's like, man, my daughter picked this out. Get out of my face.
Yeah, don't be. Hey, you want it to be red?
Exactly. It's like, I get it. All right. Yeah. So I what if you got a daughter that was like, he's like, Daddy, would you make the cast pink? Something like that. But either way, he's dealing with an injury. So is Lance McCullers Jr. dealing with the strained forearm. And Michael Brantley, we talked about him yesterday. He's going to start on the IR. He's got the right shoulder injury. But even with those injuries, Astros expected still to have one of the most impressive, talented rosters in all of baseball, even without those guys. And they'll be back hopefully sooner rather than later. But no rush, I imagine, for the Astros.
No.
Oh, and also you part of Yordan Alvarez.
Right.
Also, right? He's still got these.
He's going to play, though. He's playing tonight. He's
okay.
batting second tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's number 2 in the lineup.
Yeah, I'm going to predict, if he can stay healthy, I'm knocking on wood, I'm going to predict 50 home run season for Yordan.
Oh, he can stay healthy?
If he stays healthy.
Oh, that's very doable.
Well,
you might have 2 people doing that because Abreu might do it too.
Oh, you really?
Yeah.
He's got that kind of power.
Oh, he's an MVP, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's bringing some thump to it.
If you want to talk about who's going to try and lead the AL in home runs, Aaron Judge already with a homer today.
Yes. First
Aaron
at bat.
Judge got a home run.
First at bat.
So he's going to break his own record.
El Capitan, too.
El Capitan.
Yeah, man, he's a captain up there, too. Yeah, and I think if Yordan, because I think last year He had 37 in 135 games, but remember, he went that whole month and only had a 1 home run
Yeah.
in the month of August. So if he doesn't have a slump like that, or I think the injury was the reason for the slump.
Yes.
If he doesn't have an injury, then I think he will get to the 50 home run mark. But yeah, I don't know if he'll catch Judge because Judge is already he's already starting.
Yeah.
Chicks dig the long ball. That's why they like Aaron Judge. All right, so Rangers with their first win. I won't spoil it too much for you and give y'all the score, but they got their first dub of the season. So congrats to Rangers fans out there. We'll keep you updated. Right now, you're still 0-0 in the Astros White Sox
And they're
matchup.
coming to bat now. The Astros are. They went 3 up, 3 down.
And yeah, no.
Not 3 up, 3 down.
Oh,
and-
not.
They got to run on first.
Oh, okay. I missed that part.
Son of a.
I can't believe he did that. He let somebody on
It
base.
was close. It was a
Oh,
close play at
that's
first.
right. They had that
Close play at
infield
first,
hit. Yeah.
Okay, so I can't wait for tomorrow because I'm sure tomorrow we'll get like the all the game times in because I can't wait to see what impact the pitch clock has. Remember in spring ball the pitch clock had games I believe on average at 2 hours and 35 minutes. Man, they haven't had games that have been that duration in Major League Baseball in since nearly 4 decades. Been a really long time. So it's a different style. I can't wait to see what the results are just of the first day. Obviously a small sample size, but it's an immediate impact rule change. And we had Chipper Jones on, courtesy of my man Mike Card yesterday. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a guy that's still actively coaching around the game. And he said in spring ball he loved it.
Yeah.
He said he loved it.
John Madani, who we all know and love, he said he had 3 Major League Finals that were earlier, it was about an hour ago. One game was 3:07. One game was 2 hours and 21 minutes.
That's crazy.
And another one was 2 hours and 14 minutes.
Was that 3-hour one the one you mentioned earlier, the 10-9 game? Was that?
No, that
3
one
hours?
was 3 hours and 10 minutes.
Okay.
So that was
I wonder
was
what the
at
score.
that time.
I want to know the scores of the 3-hour games.
Got you.
Because if it's a 10-9 game, nobody gives a damn about 3 hours.
Right.
That's a very entertaining 3 hours. Everybody, you were riveted, so we're fine
Yeah.
with that. The pace kept up with it, so I think that was exactly what the ideal 3-hour game would be. So I wonder what the score was of that 3-hour game. But still, I mean, you're getting some 2-hour and 20-minute games in Major
Yeah.
League Baseball. That's crazy.
2 hours, 21 minutes.
Wow.
It was 4-0 Chicago
That's what you want.
Cubs.
If it's gonna be a 4-0 game,
Yeah.
make it 2 hours and 20 minutes, please, so we can get on with our day.
Yeah.
If you ain't gonna be scoring no damn runs, you gonna get blanked out here. Let's get this thing moving. But if you're gonna score some runs and we're gonna make it competitive, go back and forth, sure, let's go 3 hours.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be an overwhelming success. And it's just making the games a lot more exciting and appealing to a younger generation.
3 hours and 2 minutes. It was 5-4.
Okay.
The Pittsburgh Pirates beat the Reds.
I'm cool with 9 runs.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
You are going to have to make sure you time out your beer runs properly during baseball games now
Yep.
because they do stop selling at a certain point.
Seventh inning.
Seventh inning?
At all ballparks.
So you are going to have
Yeah.
to time. Make sure you're watching that 6th inning.
yeah.
Make sure you know
You're right. I guess you have
because you're going to be looking and be like, I'm not really done with that beer, and you're going to be upset.
Yep.
No, you're right because there was a very leisurely attitude about that. Prior to the pitch clock, because you're like, man, I got all day. I got like 2+ hours before they get.
Hey man, I
to
want
the
to
seventh inning.
get too drunk.
Right.
Yeah. Now you got about 90 minutes to an hour, maybe 100 minutes before they get to that 7th inning. You gotta hurry up.
So the Rangers game was 3 hours and 4 minutes, and the score was 11-7.
That's ideal.
Yep.
Oh,
It's outstanding.
Man. I'm excited for Major League Baseball.
Hey, so you're worried
Fantastic.
about our leadoff hitter. It looks like Pena is going to be in the leadoff spot tonight,
Okay.
and that looks like a pretty good leadoff for the
Ooh,
Stros.
And Pena was hot. I mean, smoking.
I mean,
during spring.
well, yeah, and I mean he was smoking at the end of last season too.
That's true. Very true.
I mean
Yeah.
when he win World Series MVP.
That's right.
Yeah,
Sorry.
he
Yeah,
doing
right.
a
He been
little
smoking
something.
ever since last season. I guess he ain't stopped smoking. But yeah, in spring ball, he was hitting 324.
Yep. He stayed hot.
And
He
that's your
stayed
boy. I
hot.
remember the first one that told me, at least as an Astros fan, that there was nothing to worry about in terms of Carlos Correa. Was hard. Just like, don't worry about him.
Yeah.
They got one.
They got one.
And I was like
They
that-
got they one.
He said,
They got they
he was
one.
like, they got one.
For sure.
Ooh.
For sure.
That was one too. That wasn't. All right. So the Astros right now and the White Sox still 0-0 bottom. Of the first. Astros got one on right now, and that's
Yeah.
Pena. Bregman at the mound. Okay, let's get to. Well, in fact, we're a little up against it here. I want to get to this NIL rankings, and I want to give it a little time because I think it's really interesting.
I think it is too.
Okay, so let's get some time because On3 has come up with their NIL rankings of the college athletes who have the most NIL potential, I guess. I don't know how they put this together. They have their own deep dive algorithm or some type of cumulative metric that they use, but they rank all of the student athletes in college sports based on how much NIL revenue that they're going to generate or that they have generated. We'll come back and talk about that. We'll talk about where Texas stands. Does Texas have anybody on the list? Hint, hint, they do. We'll get into that.
They got a couple.
They got a couple. We'll get to that when we come back right here on Ball Don't Lie. Wonderful, not
Opening day is upon you, so why not enjoy a cold beer? That's right. Get yourself some Allstat beer. Allstat is born in Fredericksburg, Texas, right in the heart of the Texas Hill Country. They have a beautiful state-of-the-art brewery, and the brewery prides itself on their award-winning German-style beers. They also have a fine dining restaurant that you can enjoy, and they also have a tap room where you can enjoy more of the flavors. Plan a tour today and see it for yourself. You can enjoy some great beer with some great food, and of course, go with some great friends. And the weekend is upon you as well, so why not go out there and listen to some live music? So plan a trip today. Go to allstatbeer.com to find a local watering hole where you can enjoy some or where you can pick some up on your way home. No matter what's going on, make Allstat your beer of choice. Allstat beer is made with 100% true German ingredients. That means German hops, malts, and yeast, and of course, that natural hill country water. Allstat beer, no impurities, no regrets.
All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. It is a new theme Thursday edition of Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn. And the new theme, you probably already guessed it, the new theme is baseball. That's right. It is opening day for Major League Baseball, so we're all celebrating, having a good time. And my man Patrick, who is the Idealionaire, comes up with all the musically themed days of the week. Came up with, this was actually pretty easy for him, but he came up with this one too. Harge got it on the first guess. That's how I know it was really easy. But it is something that everybody's celebrating these days. It should be celebrating. Is opening day for Major League Baseball. Hope your team finds a dub. That was certainly the case for the Rangers. Rangers got their first win of the season, and they did it in dramatic fashion, pretty much. Also, before we get to the NIL rankings here, let me remind you about a birthday party that you might want to attend. Buda, the city of Buda, having a birthday party, and the Horn is going to be there to celebrate as well. Also, Coke FM, they're going to be hanging out. So it'll be an ARN party experience. They're going to be at the Buda Amphitheater and City Park Saturday starting at 3 p.m. It's going to be a carnival all day long. They got birthday cake. Man, they even say BYOB on here. That is a party. Live music starting at 5:45 with Uncle Lucius, headlining at 7:30 p.m. And then you can join the Koch family and also the Horn family Saturday for the Buda's birthday celebration. You got details on the Horn page at hornfm.com. So go check that out. It's in the events page. So go under the events tab there, and you can go check out all the details of the Buda birthday celebration.
No doubt, no
Beautiful
doubt.
thing. All right, let's get to these NIL rankings here. Because, Hard, you guys got a separate story related to this, too, that you want to bring up. So, On3 has been doing this for a couple of years, basically since NIL has become a thing. They have not necessarily revealed what their algorithm or formula is for their NIL rankings. So trust that they're doing their due diligence to try to put this thing together. So they do their On3 NIL 100. So it's the top 100, I believe, earning athletes or possible earning athletes as it relates to NIL. And at the top, they have Bronny James.
Mm-hmm.
Not even officially a student athlete just yet. There are odds right now on where Bronny's going to play ball. Actually, I wrote these down because I was looking at it. Right now, Ohio State, based on DraftKings, they have the best odds to sign Bronny at plus 125. Then USC at plus 200. Then Oregon at plus 225. At one point, Texas was like in the top 5.
They
like,
were in
a
the
long
very
time
beginning,
ago.
yeah.
But not anymore. But Bronny James at $7.2 million NIL valuation. Hey, we're talking with them Nepo babies, baby.
Yep.
Hey. That's right there. But I will say he did really well in the McDonald's All-American game. He scored 15 points, 5 of 8 from three-point range. Had a really good defensive showing in that game as well. So Bronny can play a little bit. He's been criticized for being a Nepo baby, but he's proving that he deserves some of this, at least the opportunity to show what he's got.
He's got 12.7 million followers between his Instagram and his TikTok. So that's how that's a ridiculous number for a guy, as you said, who hasn't even played on a college campus. Wow. But nowadays we know about the influencers. There's a lot of influencers that we may not know about, but the kids know about them, and they're making a ton of money just by being influencers on social media. Once you get to a certain number, you start making a little bit extra cheese, as we all know. But, you sit here and you look at it, Bronny James being at that level. We looked at what Arch Manning, because remember, and it still is to this point, they were 1 and 2 all year. They were going back and forth on their evaluations on how much money they were all worth, I guess you would say, that valuation. So you start looking at it, and then you got a young lady from LSU that is a gymnast that is making a lot of money as well from this. So it's a lot, man.
She's got $11.2 million. The reason Arch Manning at number 2 is an outlier because he's not a social media star
not even close
at all. He's only got 243,000 followers. They got him in a $3.7 million NIL valuation overall. So obviously their best guesstimate as to what he could make. But he's got the Manning name, and I mean, we just talked about Nepo babies.
Yeah.
And the nepotism gets you the opportunity, but you still got to prove yourself once you get the opportunity. Arch Manning, same thing. Right?
Yep.
He's in that Nepo baby conversation. And both of the two top NIL valuations in college sports, Nepo babies.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, think of think of how many commercials that LeBron's currently in or the Mannings are currently in, where they'll just be like, all right, we're shooting that Caesar Sportsbook, or I guess they can't do that, but something else where they do a commercial with the Mannings, and they'll just be like, yeah, and then you just bring Arch with you, and then we'll pay him too, and then he'll be in this commercial as the next generation. We'll pay Archie, we'll pay Art, we'll get all the generations up here. The same with LeBron. They'll be like, yeah, just get him in this Nike commercial or this Gatorade commercial. Just in those commercials, they'll be like, it's a great, easy marketing campaign for us.
Yeah. All right. The first family of football. So it's a family thing. They will pay the family.
You know who's number 17 on this list? Bryce James, Bronny's brother. So he's
really?
He's there at 1.2 million.
Hey,
that's what it's all about. And he's grown so much. He's taller. He's almost as tall as LeBron now.
That's crazy. Yeah, he's right ahead of Xavier Worthy, actually. Xavier Worthy and
Sam Hurley. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who's I didn't even notice that. Good catch right there.
Yeah, no doubt.
That so you got two LeBron James children on this list in the top 20.
In the top 20.
And you know what? If there was another Manning out there playing, he would also be in the top 20 of the list.
100%.
Because Patrick Rice, it's all about that name more than anything, and that's why the name is a brand. The name is a brand. And
no doubt.
At one point, I know Texas wanted to be kind of the NIL capital of major college sports, getting a big fish, a whale, if you will, in the NIL world like Arch Manning. That's a big part of that.
No doubt.
And this young lady, I don't even know how you pronounce her name. Is it Livy Dunn?
I think it is Livy Dunn.
The gymnast.
Mm-hmm.
God bless her.
Yeah, she's doing her thing.
She has really maximized her value. And I know gymnastics, I'm sure she's got other deals in gymnastics as a pro in the gymnastics world. But all I see her coming across my timeline is stories about her followers and her trending and going viral.
Yep.
The only reason I know she is because she goes viral a ton.
Well,
and she's got like teen boys obsessed with her.
Oh, they have to get security when they go to meets.
Yeah, they're like rushed. They're trying to rush the meet.
Yeah,
and they have to like keep them at bay.
Well, here's some of her clients. She has Body Armor. ESPN is one of her clients. I don't know what that means. Leaf Trading Cards, Forever 21, and Grubhub.
Yeah.
So she's in the mix with all of these people, especially because obviously she's a student athlete, as you like to say. But when you start looking at all these kids and how they're making all their money and what the potential is for them, this is a beautiful, beautiful thing, man.
It is, and I love 6 and 7 on this list. You know, you and I both talked about it, and I've said that, you know, college football hasn't really seen anything like Deion Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he is kind of a once-in-a-generation coach. We just don't have pro football Hall of Famers who go coach at the college level. They just don't. They don't have to.
They don't have to.
And Deion's, I think he's the first because it doesn't happen a lot because those guys don't have to do it. He's got Travis Hunter, who was the cornerback that transferred with him to Colorado. He's
number
on the list.
one recruit.
Yeah, he was number one recruit in the country, actually, at defense. He is on the list at number 6. So his NIL value is $1.7 million. He's got 1.3 million followers on social media. And his son, Shedeur Sanders, is number 7.
No doubt.
On the list, both from Colorado, $1.5 million valuation for him, both ahead of Drake May.
Mm-hmm. North Carolina.
The money is following. The money will follow Deion.
No doubt about it.
I don't know how much money there is, in the boosters and among the boosters and donors of Colorado, but they came out for Deion. Deion will bring them out.
Yeah.
And they've already set records for their spring game. They literally, I think
they're televising their spring game on ESPN.
Spring game. I'm not making this up. They have to give away tickets to that to Colorado spring game like the last 2 years.
Yep.
I'm serious, they had to give them away. And they sold tickets this year because Deion's like, ain't nobody going to watch me for free. But to pay to watch Deion's team. I believe that's kind of one of his quotes I'm paraphrasing. But essentially, I think they doubled the amount, it might have tripled at this point, double the amount of tickets sold than they gave away.
Uh-huh.
last year.
Yeah.
They couldn't give away as many as they sold this year. They were giving them away.
Yep.
It was on the street like, hey, you want these tickets? Like, hell no, I ain't
No,
going to
I'm
see
good. I
CU.
got something to play. I got something else to do out here. It's cold.
Man, so there's
Yeah.
a lot of excitement around Colorado. Hell, we got one of our coworkers here is a Buffalo.
No
He's
doubt.
been really excited by seeing him wearing more Colorado stuff than I've ever seen before.
I'm like, man, I didn't realize you had that much
He's
stuff.
wearing a ton of it.
Looks brand new.
Yeah, but once again, Nepo baby though.
Yep,
For the Dion though with the Shadur Sanders too.
Yep.
I don't know why this subject has come up today, but it is. Oh, since it did, since we're talking about this anyway. I went back and looked at my study. I did like a deep dive about coaching family connections at the NFL level, essentially Nepo babies. And this is essentially after 2021. So it's obviously a year old, so it didn't count the 2022 season. But how about this? So if you're just counting the family affiliations, family connections, a recent research conducted by the NFL determined that 9 of the 32 head coaches, remember I said this is a year old, so 9 of the 32 head coaches were either sons or fathers of a current or former NFL head coach. I repeat, 9 of the 32 head coaches were either son or father of a former or current NFL head coach, including coordinators and position coaches. So they were either their dad's coached at the NFL level or some way, or a son. The same NFL research report also found that 63 total NFL coaches were biologically related through marriage. And 53, basically they were through marriage of some kind. So whether there's blood relation or whether it's just through, marital connections and marital relations, whatever, man, it's nepotism runs the league.
No doubt.
No question. Essentially, 14% of all coaches, basically, have found to have some biological or marital connection to former NFL coaches.
Not surprising. We've been talking about it, and that's the way it rolls. So I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, and like I said, this is a little old, but overall, the league averages, I think, 3.4 coaches per team who are related to a current or former NFL coach.
Wow.
The percentage of coaches at the supervisory level, the ones with hiring power, is even higher. 11 of the 32 head coaches are related to a current or former NFL coach. There are 24 coordinators who are related to a current or former NFL coach.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
There you go.
By the way, on this list, going back to this list real quick,
Nepo babies.
Quinn Ewers is number 67 on this list.
Damn.
When
What?
you said the top 100,
I'm almost surprised he's so low.
He's number 67.
Did they take some money away after last season?
I don't know. Maybe
Did they subtract some of Quinn's funds?
They did say
What?
They did say it's down.
Did
I
he
don't
have
know
an
if it's
incentive?
60.
Did he have an incentive-based NIL deal?
You gotta pay. You getting paid by your play,
Right?
player.
Did he get paid by what? That's crazy. I did not
Yeah.
expect that.
No doubt. So yeah, he's down on the list.
That is shocking.
Cam Rising, former Texas quarterback, is number 41 on the list. So there's some moves being made.
Where
around.
Casey Thompson at? Casey Thompson.
Say what?
Casey Thompson.
I'd say what?
I can't believe Quinn's that low though.
Yeah.
I got to talk to these boosters, man. What y'all doing?
Man,
Man,
I mean, hey.
Quinn needs a bump in salary.
Well, maybe that was because most of the time he was paying for all his parking tickets. So that might have been some of the moves that was there.
I think this valuation is based on a lot of different variables. They probably got their own algorithm and everything.
Yeah.
And I bet his valuation has dropped from what it was prior to last season. Because last season, there was a lot more hype about Quinn Ewers. And that hype, we talked about it, that hype actually adds to your NIL value.
Very fair.
Because in this NIL world, perception, hell, there is no reality. It's just perception.
Right.
We don't know what these people are making.
No doubt.
We have no idea.
I
It's just
have
like, we
zero
think he's
idea.
making this much money. Nobody really knows.
Yeah, there's no bottom line that you're sitting there seeing. There's there's really no number that you can actually sit there and look at and say, oh yeah, this is quantifiable.
You can't even get an open records request to find out what the hell's going on with these NIL deals. And this is state school. Can't get that.
No doubt.
Exactly. I'm saying nobody really knows. It's just all kind of floated up in the air. All right.
Number 23,
Who's that?
Spencer Rattler.
Okay.
Yeah, Spencer Rattler,
Good
way
for
up
Spencer Rattler.
there. Yeah.
So there are 3 Longhorns in the top 20, and none of them is Quinn Ewers.
No. Sam Hurley, X-Man, and
Arch.
Manning.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay. Now, you know what? I think that's more than most, though.
Oh, for
I'm trying
sure.
to look for who else has 3 in the top 20.
Yeah. Well,
Hell, Colorado's got 2
I was gonna
in
say,
the top 10.
Yeah, and they just got there.
Man,
And they
Deion.
just got there.
That Deion impact is crazy.
You knew it was going to happen.
I want to say Texas has the most in the top 20. Just
It
eye
has to
test.
be.
So
their
they are the
goals. I was going to say their goals are being met.
NIL capital of college football,
There
of
it
college
is.
sports. There you go.
There you go. We got something.
Mission
cooking right there.
accomplished.
There you
We
go.
made it.
It
We
ain't
made it.
over. It ain't over.
We made it. All right, we come back. We'll wrap it up. Put any of it right here on Ball Don't Lie, 104.9 The Horn. All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. Time to wrap it up and put it in the oven. We'll let you know what's on tap before we're out of here. If you missed any part of any of the shows, please go to hornfm.com. You can catch up with them on the podcast page. Before we get out of here, Harge, what's on tap for you, brother?
I am going to watch some baseball tonight. I'm going to make sure I get home and check it out and try to take it all in. This is a great day for baseball.
It is. Right now, still 0-0, bottom of the third inning with the Astros and the White Sox. Sorry, I'll get used to the spoiler alert thing. I got to get used. First day. Patrick, what's on tap for you, brother?
Oh, we'll be watching the rest of this Astros game, that's for sure.
Go Astros! Yeah, you damn right. I'm going to go home, watch me some Astros. Also, can I say this? I watched The Whale last night.
Okay, how
Brendan
was it?
Fraser winning Best Actor. You know what? I think I would give more props to the makeup specialists and the costume people. Because it was extraordinary watching him kind of run around that fat suit and everything.
Yeah.
And it was a tragically entertaining film. But he was good. But I think the special effects and the makeup people and the costume people deserve more credit than he did. So I don't know if he should have got Best Actor.
Okay.
I don't know if he should have got Best Actor. I think you could have given, honestly, you probably given it to the guy that played Elvis.
What'd you say? It was on Netflix?
No, I watched it. I think Apple TV is where I watched it. Yeah.
Okay.
It's depressing though. I'm telling you, it's depressing.
I don't have time
You're
for
gonna
that.
be sad after you watch it. It is.
I don't have time for that.
I would say though, it is tragically enlightening, but it is depressing. Because like I said, tragic is probably the first word I would use to describe it.
Okay.
His performance. But I liked it. I enjoyed it. All right. If you missed any part of the shows, like I said, go to hornfm.com. You can catch up with them on the podcast page there. Also, got to remind everybody, go to hornfm.com. If you missed any of I was watching the Rodney Terry interview on LHN. They're replaying it.
Yeah.
You missed any of that? Honestly, go check out the Craig Way interview with Rodney Terry. It's probably better than any of the stuff that I've listened to. It was really, really good. And go check out Coach Collier's interview. It's still up there too. And of course, you can check out the Rodney Terry press conference in its entirety at hornfm.com. So you can get your kind of Longhorn fix there as well.
All I can say is hook 'em, baby. It's a great day to be alive, baby. It's been a great day to be a Longhorn.
We're going to get hard to cut a promo as Coach Terry.
I'll do it.
Unless Coach Terry will do it for sure. Maybe he'll do it for us. You know every damn body.
I'll
I know you
hit him
got
up.
Coach Terry up in that damn phone somewhere. I know you do.
I do.
All right, I want to thank my man Pat for doing a great job. Thank Harge as always, and thank you guys out there for listening. Oh, Chris Almendarez as well.
Chris Almendarez, Chipper Jones, everybody's on there too. We got them all.
Yes, Chipper Jones up on the website. Go check that out, hornfm.com. Remember, the revolution will not be televised. We talk about it right here on Ball Don't Lie. We love you guys. We mean that. Take care of yourself. Won't play. Take care of each other. Peace.